out there, and then all you do is you take the lessons learned and go, okay, next time we probably need to make the mic sound better. Next time we should probably do it this way.
Yep.
But I mean, I see a lot of leadership up there, and that's a lot of people who can answer questions right away. That's awesome. I know you're going to get dinged, and there's going to be trolls in the feed and shit like that. But I mean, they're getting ahead of the message, and hopefully keeping people safe and sound.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. What I don't. It's like, it's now that the commanders are out there and you're engaging the commanders, then I guess you. I would suggest you shut up, and this is what you wanted. You wanted to have these commanders engage with you. You wanted to have them get down in the dirt with you. So I guess it's time for you to shut up and take it, if that makes any sense. Yeah, we've had an interruption of service. Hang on. I'll get you guys and gals back on there. Yes, we do realize we were off the air. Yeah, we are. We totally. We just, because we're not just broadcasting. We are all on. See, that's the thing. We're on the air, Camo Boss. We're just not on the air to the platform that you're listening to. So right now, there were other platforms that we were on that you're currently. It's just not it's the Facebook and the Mixer stuff. If it drops off, then it comes back on. Then it comes back on. So it's not just one platform, because
we keep the show going.
We keep the show going. There are 15 other platforms that we're broadcasting on. So when you say, "Hey, you guys are off the air," we're not off the air. We're still rocking and rolling, and we're still broadcasting. So I know, much to everybody's, we appreciate everybody's, hey, check and all this other stuff. Hey, you guys are off the air, on the air. It's only Facebook. If you guys are only loving, if you guys are dry humping Facebook too much, then choose another platform, because that's what it is. There's a lot of individuals that just want to be on Facebook, and that's it, and not realizing that we have other platforms that we can get onto, and check them out. Don't
give Zuck all your time.
Yeah, exactly. The Zuck will. That's how he wants you to have everything to him. He wants to keep you to himself. Meanwhile, there are other platforms that we could use, and there you go. So, anyways. So we're back. There we go. Yeah, see, I heard that. Yeah. Everyone's like throwing snacks and pizza at Spanky now. Spanky's just hanging out. I think what it was is that we weren't really trolling. We weren't trolling.
Fort Carson.
We weren't trolling Fort Carson.
Hell no! I think it's awesome.
We were giving them some.
They even got good enough signal where I can see them, and they're not all pixelated and shit.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Someone did their homework.
Yeah, everyone's self-isolating. So we'll just keep
social distancing.
Yeah.
I hate that. I've never heard of that phrase, social distancing, before until now, and I have a feeling it's gonna be like the new word that is added to the dictionary, some shit like that. Unless it's already been there.
It is, dude.
Like it's not common usage.
No, straight up. It just says specifically right now. That's the new of excellence.
That's social distancing. I have a lot of introverts in my family that are like. That would be leading that excellence.
This is the new hotness. This is the word like lethality, or whatever, center of gravity. This is holistic. This is paying big dividends. Whatever the drama of the day is, or whatever you like to decide on what is the right one, what is the right one. I guarantee it. There's going to be somebody that's going to get a NCOER bullet or OER bullet. It was probably taken from an NCO.
Definitely. You share bullets.
Yeah, we share bullets. That's right.
We're not rated the same.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. Yeah. Social. I almost read that. Socialistic, holistic, distancing, fitness of excellence. There you go.
Fitness of excellence.
Yeah. But anyways, so
we're happy to be here right now because all that social distancing has made me a little hermited.
Right. So okay, real quick. Let me ask you a question, Flash. So you work in areas that is of what's going on in the Army, Jose? I mean, Flash. What's
Don't put that stuff out. I already feel like I'm going to be weirded out for having Taco Tuesday on St. Patrick's Day because I couldn't get any corned beef and shit because it was all like, man, I tell you what. Okay, let's talk about the Army.
Yeah. So what's been going on? What's been the Army at the Pentagon? What's the Pentagon's and the like just old Department of the Army? I should say HQDA because HQDA is just not at the Pentagon either. But so what's been the Army look at it when it comes to that stuff?
Around the Army, you're seeing a lot of like Fort Carson, you're seeing a lot of commands that are trying to get ahead. There's public affairs guidance that's out there. There's resources. The DoD has a website dedicated. There's a hotline that's being pushed. It's a 24-hour hotline for soldiers to call, especially the ones who. The biggest problem is the soldiers that are in between a PCS move. They put out guidance. Pretty much, they're saying like, look, if you haven't left, you're going to return back to your, if you haven't left, you're going to turn to your losing, your losing unit. If you're like if you're already like on the way, you're going to just continue on. But they're stopping there. If you're supposed to be moving and you're supposed to be picking up, home goods and stuff, they're going to stop you right there. Pretty much, we're trying to push the Army's trying to push everyone, right now. The Army's just trying to push everyone that's, what do you call it? Trying to push everyone who's already. Sorry, I had something buzzing in my ear. It threw me out. Pushing everyone who's already out moving to their homes, to their next station, and everyone else is stopped. The Army is stopping. We're not moving anyone out. We're not moving anyone around. And that's just what's going to end up. That's just what's going to happen for a while. There's also, they're also not sending people around, which is kind of weird because the DoD and put out guidance going, no, you're not going, no one's going to Korea, no one's going to Italy, no one's doing any of that. And then 8th Army's Twitter came up and was like, General Bills, who's the 8th Army commanding general, something like that. Yeah. I think so, commanding general. Yep, he is out there and going, look. Now let me hold on. I gotta. Oh, he's got his face is a little more beat up than mine. So look,
that's messed up. He's a good dude.
No, General Bills is awesome. Had the pleasure of meeting him once or twice. None against him. It's just like he just has a beat up. Like he's seen some shit, but he's like, look, he said, your travel is authorized. If you've been turned away, I need you to go back to the airport, go up to the counter, tell them my travel is authorized, get on a plane because Korea is ready for you. And I like the bravado that Korea is just taking on a whole new bravado when it comes to the 8th Army, the commander of 8th Army, the USFK commander, General Abrams, who's out there, who I did get to see one person who went, they're talking about like testing facilities, and she had jumped on Twitter and was like, me and my family volunteer to go to the ROK, and he retweeted and was like, approves, DM me your SNL, and let's get this done.
Oh wow!
And I laughed my ass off, and then I saw some other people asking, I wonder if she's going to go through with it. This is what you get when you this is what you get when you ask. And she ended up saying that she couldn't because of family reasons, which I understand. But it's like, yeah, social media, everyone's listening. But it's kind of mixed messages coming from Korea. I don't know exactly what's going on over there, whether maybe they have some special guidance that the DoD just hasn't kind of said, hey, except Korea, the people can still go to Korea, or right. Korea's kind of like flying by, they're like, we really need people in Korea, so screw this. Come on, Korea. You weren't coming to Korea? You were going to Fort Carson? Not anymore.
Not anymore. You're going to Korea.
Come on down.
Yeah, I don't.
So you have a lot of stop movement. The big thing is quarantine. Apparently, there's articles talking about like different bases going to be used to quarantine people. Right. A lot of that's not true, depending on what you're looking at. But I tell you what, the Army is taking this seriously. They're dedicating. There's a 24-hour hotline, so if you're kind of stuck halfway in between, or they've stopped all TDYs. They've closed down. I've heard they're stopping some basic training, graduation ceremonies, and basic training altogether. Like, it's a lot of things that are coming to a grinding halt to make sure this shit does not spread more than it already has. And the Army's taking a big factor because we're always next to people. You never are by yourself because they say if you're by yourself, you're probably wrong.
Yeah. or a lieutenant lost.
A lieutenant. But it's scary stuff out there. So the Army does have an army.mil. I did get a chance to look at that before this. They do have an army.mil page. There is information. There is that 24-hour hotline. It is important that you do check that out if you are stuck in between. That you reach out and ask questions, because it's going to help you get to where you need to go, because the Army's not going to be like, screw you, you're on your own. they're trying to make you get to wherever you're supposed to be going. But if you had a PCS move coming up in the near future, you're not moving for a while. Hell, if baseball's not moving, you're not moving. That's just how you should tailor it.
Is that what
you're very sad to report that baseball will not start April 9th, which was supposed to be the 2-week push off from opening day, which is very sad. And there's no end in sight. Probably hockey and basketball are, done for the season, which is, man, talk about everything is just like coming to a grinding halt everywhere. There's reports on CNN that SNL is on hold. So you're not going to see any new SNL skits and whatnot. Some McDonald's seating areas are closed. A lot of places are saying we're only doing drive-through. There's a lot of Taco Bells within. I know a lot on the Eastern Seaboard that are just doing drive-through only. Wow. And then we've got big names. We've got Tom Hanks, who's got the coronavirus.
Yeah,
Idris Elba's got the coronavirus. The guy who played the big freaking redheaded guy from Game of Thrones apparently has it too. It's spreading, and people aren't like paying attention to the point where New York. Do you ever watch the movie Outbreak?
Yeah, of course, dude. That's like a classic.
When they quarantine, that's what Governor Cuomo is pretty much asking the New York National Guard to do, is pretty much quarantine the shit out of New York City. This is a weird time. There's so much going on. The stock market is we're down, we're up, we're doing good. Fuck, we're down again. Like I know people who are just like pulling out money and just like putting into stocks they know are going to come back.
Right.
But still, Canada's closing all its borders except to U.S. citizens, which kind of sounds stupid to me. Right now, West Virginia and Idaho are like one. I think there's one other. I think Mississippi. I'd actually have to look it up, but I know Idaho and West Virginia have no cases of coronavirus. Knock on corrugated wood. It's. Regal Cinemas is closing their theaters.
Wow.
Goldman Sachs is warns about how far the stocks could fall. It's kind of like people are saying this is like the sell-off of 2001 all over again. People are judging the president, his response or slow response or not taking responsibility, everything like that.
Let's talk about that. Do you think this shit was happening way back in November or something like that, right? I mean, this is like, wasn't this like alerted? Everyone. It seems like history just, I don't know. To some individuals, they have some sort of. Again, of course, these are all media people, talking heads that, of course, instantly overnight became, cellular biologists and freaking doctors, and scientists. And I remember hearing about this way back in November. Isn't that what, like, it was already brought up that everyone kind of like scoffed at the president about already? And now
there was, it's funny how this works when it comes to, a president response. This is not a popular president, and any way you shake it, hell, I don't even like him. Any way you shake it, he's going to be doing the wrong thing. So, remember when he was saying he wanted to close the borders to certain countries and stuff like that.
Right.
Not the first one. We're talking closer to now.
Yeah.
Already, we're getting people who are getting mad. We're mad at him, saying he's being xenophobic and stuff like that. And then as soon as it starts like coming, they're like, oh no, why didn't he close the borders and shit like that. It's a weird time in politics. People, when you had like AOC, she came on and was saying that people were being racist for not going to Asian restaurants and Chinese food restaurants.
Okay, that's funny. It's not racist. That's just kind of like.
I get what she's like.
Exactly.
I get what she was saying there. But the way she said it was like, fuck you. Because no, I don't. If you're worried that if your Chinese food restaurant's going to get you coronavirus, then you're probably being a little dumb. But no one should tell you have to go patron one place or another, because that's not what we do in this country. So, like I said, she's not. Her message wasn't horrible. It's just how she said, anyways. But I think that we were slow when it hit the U.S. They should have took a page out of Outbreak and shit and been doing these testing facilities and doing what they need to do to test everyone they can. These hospitals are, everyone's vastly unprepared, and you're going to be unprepared. That's the problem with people think that the government's this all amazing being and stuff like. It reminds me of the South Park episode where those kids are trying to find like who really did 9/11. And the government keeps trying to make them think it's them.
Right,
who is charged because they're like, we don't want people to think that we were just unprepared for this, so we want to come off as like all powerful and this is the conspiracy. Oh, because they're trying to find out the conspiracy theories.
Right.
And so I kind of understand this. Like the government's not all powerful and everything and all knowing, and sometimes shit who really thought that this would have, like, when it got out of China, how quickly it would have gone.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure scientists did. I didn't, because I'm not a scientist and don't know. I only watch Outbreak and know if one fucking monkey jumps in and bites somebody, all of a sudden my town's gonna get firebombed by Morgan fucking Freeman. And,
it was
Donald Sutherland.
And it was called the Mutaba.
It's on Netflix. You should watch it.
It's called the Mutaba. The Mutaba virus. The Mutaba.
Made my wife watch that yesterday, and she hates me for it.
Oh my god, dude! That one in Contagion too.
Mm-hmm. So I think the president, he gets dinged because, one, he is the president. A reporter asked him, "Does the buck stop with you?" And he deflected it. No matter how you swing it, you're the president. The same shit you were tweeting at President Obama. He needed to take responsibility for, like, swine flu. That Obama had to take responsibility for swine flu. He's got to take responsibility. The buck stops, no matter.
But you can't control the virus.
No matter what, it's always. That's why you have a good
leader.
Can't control. Always the buck stops with them because they're in charge.
Right, but you can't. Dude, you cannot.
I'm not
control
saying
virus.
rake them over the coals, but you should have been like, no, the buck stops with me. This is on me, but we need to, and then bridge and go into messaging of we need to do better and stuff like that.
Right.
That's what should have happened. The fact that he kept deflecting it off gives people a talking point.
I just wonder who's in. Like,
I think I gave him a C. Give him a C+. I think that there's things he could have done better, and I think he made some big moves, some scary. Like, I didn't realize the government had that much power to do some of these things, but they made some big moves and guidelines and stuff like that. They're putting out the guidance, and I think those are the right measures.
Right.
And hey, look, you have until this date. You're U.S. citizens. You need to come back, and everyone else, you need to stay home. I think that was the right move. I just think that I think a lot of these measures are slow. They're good. They're happening. I think everyone's just kind of slow off the upswing. But I like the social distancing because the only way to really beat this is the bell curve. CNN actually has an article showing the bell curve where if everyone's just out doing their thing, it's a high curve and then it's going to drop down. You lessen it, it's going to, we're looking at probably not until May we're going to be on the downturn. So it's only going to get worse. There's still people who are sick. It takes like 14 days to really, start really showing symptoms if you do. And then you might just be a carrier. It's some scary stuff. I have been watching a whole lot of stuff. I know lots of places, lots of governments are out there teleworking, so they don't have to be in offices. And much love and prayers to the folks that work at like grocery stores and fast food and or the mission essential folks who can't not telework. And I hope all of them stay safe. But here's the thing: there's too many stupid people out there throwing out so much stupid information. It makes me want to drink all the alcohol and then make more and drink all that alcohol as well. Like you have the Oklahoma governor who's getting all kinds of backlash because he's tweeting a photo of him and his kids in a crowded restaurant on Saturday, and then declared a state of emergency on Sunday and after they announced their 8th case of coronavirus. And he said, "Eating with my kids and my fellow Oklahoma at Collective OKC. It's packed tonight." But even though they've been his post totally counter to what the warnings of public health officials saying, do not fucking go places like that. Like, stay away, eat at home. Everyone who thinks essential oils is going to fucking help you, you need to go fucking find a bridge and jump off.
No, it's toilet paper, dude. You need toilet paper.
Well, I don't get the toilet paper thing. Like, my wife was telling me, because she grew up, my wife grew up a lot poorer than I did. And, they got to the point where sometimes, you just didn't have enough money. It was food or toilet paper. Like, do I get this pack of hot dogs or do I get toilet paper? Fucking getting hot dogs that we need to eat. And she told me how they'd have to have a designated rag and that, her grandmother would have to bleach and everything, but they had use it, wash it off, do their thing. You could survive off toilet paper. It's not that hard. It's a society of a majority of people who haven't had to actually go through any fucking hard real. You guarantee every former service member, at least has been like NDC or JRTC.
Right.
Man, You can live without it.
Right.
You really don't need toilet paper. Hell, they have to use your fucking left hand. You'll be okay. But everyone's fighting people over toilet paper when I'm over there going, I'm getting extra eggs this month. I'm getting man, and ramen's been selling out, and that's been pissing me off more than I'm like, I'm gonna jump into some ramen. No, they take all the fucking ramen and then leave the fucking nasty ass cup of noodles. Yes, I said it. Cup of noodles is a bullshit substitute for ramen. It makes ramen look like a delicacy. Like, fucking
wait. Are you getting
worked up? Yeah, I am.
No.
This is brought to you by my.
I forgot your rap music. I forgot your rap music.
Elijah Craig bourbon whiskey.
No, but is it? What's funny is that are you getting Shin Ramen though? Are you getting the ramen? Are you getting Shin Ramen? The ramen.
Costco near me did have it, and I did get a pack of that. Okay. My kids don't like that because it's I think the one I got is spicy, and they just haven't developed those like love for spiciness yet. Right. So we got top ramen. And I got my death black Shin Ramen.
Dude, the Shin Ramen, man, red and black. You've not had. Oh, that is the ramen of all ramen. Yeah.
So the weird thing is in Virginia, it hasn't been so crazy up until now. On Saturday, I took one for the team, and because it was normal, get paid, time to go get food. And I knew it was gonna be crazy. I woke up really early. Costco, while it was packed where I'm at, it was not the worst case scenario. There was long ass fucking lines. Everyone was really nice to each other. They were rationing out bottles of water. You can only get like 3 cases of bottles of water. You can only get one thing of toilet paper, one thing of paper towels, and then a couple other odds and ends stuff they were rationing out. But I was able to get the meat I wanted. I was able to get all the bread and milk and everything I wanted. I made sure to stock up. So that was Saturday morning. I went out today because I'm like, crap, we need a couple other things and we'll be good because, there's other guidance saying you need to be prepared for like 3 weeks of like not leaving your house, which I'm cool with. Like, not gonna hurt my feelings too much. My kids keep me on my toes. And I went to 3 different stores. And it was like the place wasn't a ghost town, but the shelves were, except the liquor store. They stayed pretty well stocked. But I did talk to them at the ABC store near me, and they did let me know that pretty much they were there's nothing in the back. If it's on the shelf, it's there. So they're starting to run low, but they made it look good. But everywhere else, the Giant, the Aldi, the Lidl's, they're like just meat's gone, bread is gone, toilet paper gone. Ramen noodles gone, fuckers. garlic gone. No garlic anywhere.
So what'd you hear about?
We're worried about the coronavirus and vampires.
So what'd you hear about that? What'd you hear about that? Those guys, those brothers in Tennessee, that went across the state and bought all that freaking hand sanitizer and wipes and all sorts of shit, and then people found out that they did that, and then they were trying to sell it on freaking Amazon.
Said, "Fuck you guys."
Yeah, and Amazon said, "No, we ain't gonna do that." But then
18,000 bottles.
But then
18,000.
But then hang on. The state. What did the state do? Then the state went over there and said, "Hey, you're not gonna do no price gouging." And then all of a sudden they went on the news like a couple of days later and said, "We're donating this to a church." Do you think it was kind of like? Do you think the government overstepped their bounds by taking someone's stash? I mean, do you think it's like hoarding them as
Okay, so this is weird because yes and no. I'm glad Amazon, because they are not a government entity, and they have the rights to say no, you can't fucking sell that on here, or you can't do this, that, and the other. We're in a national emergency, so this is a time where we need to kind of be banding together and stuff like that to try to sell. I'm gonna sell 18. Hell, my wife did see somebody on eBay did sell a Costco size, I think it's like 36 pack or some shit like that, like a Costco size thing of toilet paper for like $126, which is only $22 at Costco or something like that. So it's happening anyways. But I'm glad Amazon suspended their account, said fuck no. I honestly think Tennessee went, look, because I didn't realize there was really a law on price gouging. Maybe there is a local one in Tennessee.
Yeah, but it's only to those guys. You know what I mean? How many disasters and hurricane, like they got a tornado shit going that just happened, and how many guys do you guys or company?
I wonder if Amazon was like, hey, Tennessee,
yeah,
I want to look at these guys.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? And it's probably the Attorney General probably went, hey guys, look. We either going to fuck your life with this charge over some bullshit thing, or you can do the right thing, get a tax write-off, and donate to the church and do something better. And they decided to do that. So $18,000 hand sanitizer and all these wipes and sprays and all this other like boxes upon boxes of this stuff. Good. I'm glad that they're doing the right thing and donating it. So hopefully the church will do the right thing because, not all churches do the right thing. But hopefully they give it out to the community.
What's that church dude that didn't let the those people enter?
That fucker.
Olstein, what was his name?
He's fucking. He's a car salesman on TV. God, if you don't like that, please smite me. But he's a bullshit guy. Just gonna say.
I don't think God has.
You're ministering to like 20,000 people. Yeah, I get it, but I'm pretty sure there's there's some messages missing. Anyways, I'm sorry. That's the Christian.
No, but do you think?
He does not like another Christian because he's an asshole.
Well, no, but think about it though, Flash. I mean, think about it. These guys went out and did this shit, and then they got whatever. Now, okay, look, you're right. They're assholes for price gouging. But on top of that, and they were under investigation for price gouging. Then they go, okay, cool. Do you think at that point the government should have stepped in and because I'm telling you the timing is kind of like what the hell? All of a sudden they're being told that they're going to donate it. Did they think they got threatened? Do you think the government came in and threatened their loot?
I'm pretty sure. Like I said, the Attorney General probably said, "Look, you either can donate it or we're going to press charges because you're being, there's got to be some kind of legal standing for them to investigate." So I'm pretty sure they pretty much went like ultimatum, like, hey, look, we're not going to put this in writing, but you should probably just get rid of this stuff because if not, we're going to do this.
Right.
Because a lot of times it's just easier to just get them to solve the problem like that than to go through court and shit like that. So hopefully that's what ends up happening. But hey, we got a live update. So the coronavirus, the deaths have passed 6,500 worldwide. Which is not a big, it's not huge when it comes to like, but that's still 65,000 people who 6,500, sorry.
I'm about to say 65,000. Damn, dude.
Big number. 6,500 people worldwide who have died, who lost their lives because of this virus. Well, New York City is actually considering everything, including putting down a curfew. And so like New York City is about to be a ghost town. Of course, New York City is asking, hey, everyone stay home as much as you can. That's good guidance for everyone, everywhere. Even if you're in Alaska, which, hey, coronavirus is there, or North Dakota, which I thought was the strangest thing that North Dakota fucking got it. But they're looking at curfews. They're, right now, de Blasio is saying that it's going to get worse before it gets better. He's entirely correct. We're only on the upswing of this bell curve. There's still a lot of scary things that are going to happen. And hey, here one quick message, just because I feel like we're a good platform to at least talk to people, all the awesome people who are listening. This isn't just about you not dying. This is also about anyone who might have who've been a smoker, because it's a respiratory illness. Anyone who's a smoker or was a smoker, anyone who's had any kind of big illnesses, any underlying illnesses, anyone who's older than like 50. This is something that can actually really kill them.
Damn, I feel like you're narrowing that. Why are you looking at me, Flash? And it's over about 70. It's not 50. Damn, dude. Well, I mean, I don't.
Still though, everyone needs to take precautions. Even if you don't get it, or it might not kill you, it might take out your sweet aunt or your grandmother that you decide to visit, even though you were feeling fine.
Right.
Like
right.
My own dad, we usually have like Sunday dinners and shit like that, and he's like, "Look, y'all need to stay over there. We're going to stay over here." And I was like, all right, cool. Call you tomorrow. Like I get 100% of what he's talking about.
Right.
I just want someone says Jose's back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I get it. And I don't, I'm not mad at him for saying, hey, which I'm fine because I'm not trying to, because he's in a different part of the state and I'm not trying. My biggest fear is anything happening to my kids. So I get it.
Right.
More people need to get it,
Well, I mean,
so feeling attacked because he's
but there's but as I'm saying, everyone has a different a dynamic to their own body that this virus could affect them by. And it's somebody who has had this and somebody who has that. I mean, me smoking 2 centuries worth of pack of Cools or something like that is not gonna, because what if I quit, or what if or the same thing with you. What if you smoke cigars and you smoke? You know what I mean? It's almost like, does it seem like right now that we're getting WebMD'd? Ever looked at, man, my knee hurts, and the next thing you freaking you got bone cancer because you looked up WebMD, and how come your knee hurts, and how come your knee pops because you have kneecap cancer or something like that, and then you just kind of like, why, and it just goes down the rabbit hole of WebMD of what symptoms you have for something. Do you think we're getting?
Don't get me wrong. I get into this argument all the time on social media where I'm like, I'm not going to argue with this asshole. Everyone's saying, oh, the media's spinning this up. They're making this worse than it really is and stuff like that. Then you have people saying, oh, the media is underplaying it and it's not that bad. And people are like, oh, essential oils. And you have Dr. Oz going, blah, 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 because whatever he has to say is stupid.
Dr. Oz.
Well, Dr. Oz did say this, which the worst case scenario, he said the weak link in the pandemic and taking care of this pandemic is when hospitals get sick. And that's where the chain breaks of trying to stop this, is when your safe space isn't safe anymore, you're kind of fucked. But anyway, we have all these people who are fighting, saying, oh, the government this, the government's going to do that, and the government can't do this, and the government can't do that. And and all the people who are just like, I'm just going to sit here and drink my whiskey, because if they throw down a curfew or quarantine or something, I ain't cool. Because I was watching Outbreak. It was funny. I was watching Outbreak, and my wife asked me questions. I had to stop her, and I was like, look, I'm not a microbiologist kind of person. I said, I do talking.
Yeah.
So
I don't science for. Yeah. I don't do the sciences.
Well, I said, but look here. I said, there's all those people who are out on the street right now, and they're fighting with the people who are keeping them in there, instead of being in their fucking homes where they probably, I said, I guarantee if there's real life, the same fucking people who are out there in these crowds yelling at the government, fighting with them, are the same ones who are probably fucking passing it around like a beer bong at a frat house. Like, you just need to understand that everyone's the government's out to get you. I'm not saying the government's not the all best being in the whole wide world, and we should always believe everything they say. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying government, don't fucking die because you're stupid. They say no. Look, we're not in the middle of a civil war. We're in the middle of a war against a virus that's kicking our ass. Stay in your homes. If you don't need to go out, don't go out. Wash your fucking hands. Don't touch your fucking faces. Stay kind of away from each other. A lot of you introverts should be loving this right now, because no one's going to get near you. No one's going to talk to you. You don't have to touch anybody. You can kind of do that weird elbow thing that Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden did on the non-crowd debate.
Oh my God. Did you see that? Oh, let me get started on that, man. Don't even get started on the debate.
Donald Trump won. They both lost because, one, they only attacked Donald Trump on the coronavirus, but they didn't hammer him away. Bernie Sanders, who's pretty much statistically going to lose. They were arguing. Joe Biden just needs to sneeze, and he's got 3 more delegates, and they were done. So all the Trump campaign did was watch it and go, thank you, Mr. Bernie Sanders. That's a good point on that. That's a good point on that. Like, honestly, this is exactly what happened with Hillary Clinton in 2016, where, Hillary Clinton was going to win. DNC kind of made it happen, but Hillary Clinton was going to win, but still, Bernie Sanders like, well, I'm burning this house down with it. She also did this. She's hiding cookies here. She did that. So I watched some of it. I got bored. It was easier to hear them because there's no boos and claps, and you could just they can just talk. But Bernie Sanders did it was hammering away at Joe Biden in a non-effective, hey, vote blue type of way. It was more of I win or fuck you guys.
They were arguing and agreeing with each other at the same time. That's what made me laugh. It
reminded me of the 2 old guys from the Muppets.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
This is the best the Democrats could put forth.
I'm like, exactly.
Donald Trump's like, oh, they only hit me on the coronavirus and that's it. Okay.
Yeah, but right, and you're like, oh my God, it was, dude, it hurt. It hurt to. I watched some of the highlights, and I didn't even through the highlights what they were talking about. I was just looking at the memes about it, because there were 2 old white dudes freaking. What happens if they get coronavirus? They're in that category, right?
I saw this. I think it was Duffel blog. It's like President Trump decides to cancel the election because of the virus.
Yeah.
like, that's funny.
Well, no, but but the Ohio, isn't there like the Ohio primary going on right now? They're talking about, they're trying to postpone it.
I saw something before the show started that said Ohio was still going to happen. Shit. No, that's not it. Yeah, Saturday Night Live is not going to be on. President Trump is advising that, not to gather in groups of 10 or more people. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Chris says that just get some of those jade eggs with vag-scented candles from Gwyneth Paltrow. That'll keep the COVIDs away. Ugh.
Okay, so I did read something on that, and it's not, because I know we're getting close to the end of this hour because we have an awesome guest coming on.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not actually her vagina. Like, she's not. Gwyneth Paltrow's kind of crazy. When it comes to the health stuff, she's pretty fucking crazy. So I got you there. But apparently they made it because of a joke. And she had smelled, people who put their names on candles and that kind of stuff. I guess she was smelling stuff. They were showing her samples, and I guess one of them. She goes, I want one that would smell glorious, and I guess made a joke like my vagina kind of thing. And then they kind of ran with it, and that's what they came up with. So it's not like her actually replicating what her vagina smells like, but more so is a joke that they decided to run with it. And apparently, it's stupid enough where they're actually selling them. So there you go. But the rest of Gwyneth Paltrow, she's fucking nuts. She's the Looney Tunes. I'm pretty sure she's like, I'll be fine. Pours essential oils and stuff, rocks up her vagina, and says, I won't get a virus now. But
okay, so real quick, it's I'm glad you're back, man. I miss your.
So a judge did stop the Ohio governor's plan to push back the primaries over coronavirus. So it's happening.
So why can't we postpone an election? Do you think people will lose their shit if you postpone an election? It's like that's one of those things. Think about it though. Think about it. Well, what happened? I mean, are you gonna endanger all those people by having the election happen? I mean, that's kind of messed up. Would you?
Well, real quick, here's the ones that are happening March 17th, and this is Tuesday, March 17th, not fucking Monday, March 17th. Fox News, you stupid bastards. Arizona is going to be on the 17th, Florida, Illinois, and Ohio. There's a lot of, especially in Ohio and Florida, there's a lot of delegates. Sanders is pretty much done. I think, honestly, Biden needs to win like one of these 4 states, and the race is over. But, there's talks about a contested convention and stuff like that, which is a whole big deal, and it would take a whole other fucking 20 minutes to even talk about that. But what you need to know is just, this is pretty much done, and all Sanders did was he's just not going to go down without a fight because, DNC screwed him over before. But hey, we got a really cool guest coming on, and that's what's important now. But please wash your hands, stay safe. Wash your hands. Please don't be stupid.
So real quick before we do the setup, we're going to go on break and then we're going to get them on the air. We were kind of telling you guys last week this is going to be a surprise guest, and the surprise guest is going to be the members of the Boogaloo movement. And so we have them on to discuss some studies out there and to dispel rumors about the Boog, which we were laughing about it. We can't wait. So once we come back, the Boogs will be talking with us. So I can't wait to get them on. So everyone, real quick, go wash your hands. Don't pick your face.
Please wash your hands. Social distancing. You can
Social
do it.
distancing. You can
do it.
All right, so we'll be right back. Yeah, exactly.
Netflix and Hulu. Go for it, girls.
We'll be right back. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Hello, Mama. Hello, Daddy. I've got something that I've never said before. Went down south of the border. Now life, it's got a little harder for me. I fell in love with some girl. She told me that she was gonna rock my world. Now I'm stuck here with no money. Don't that just sound a little funny for you? Well, her name was Maria. She told me she was animal I have become. So won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you save me? Save me! Won't you please put me out of my little misery? Well, I know life is short. Mom, you know I always try to do my best. Should've listened when you told me I wouldn't be caught in this mess. Gotta go now, Dad, I'm sorry. Everybody, all y'all need to know this is life, a true story. When you chase ass down in Mexico, save me, save me. Won't you save me, save me, save me, save me. Won't you please put me out of my little misery? Misery.
Like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see. And like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be be a human.
Call me a vet like a soldier, Green Beret, 21 gun salute, don't wanna see the day. In the constant war zone, in the home of the brave, where they hate the police until they saving the day. I got kids like you, a mortgage like you, so blue lives matter, and so does yours too. All this separation and divide, open your eyes. If you cut us all open, we the same inside. The only difference is I run to the gunfight. Your peace when it's chaos, when the people don't act right. But I'm under scrutiny for trying to protect me. You pull a pistol and I'm shooting for trying to contest me. I got a quick second to make a deadly decision. The media betrayed me like a kid for a living, like I'm cold with no heart, a brain with no thoughts, a body with no feeling, a life with no cause.
Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. It's like every single time I say what's on my mind, they go for my throat, they spew evil words. A few are absurd, always grinding, grinning, and killing my soul with these verbs. Hold me down, like I can't gasp for air. I'm closed inside of a box, like I'm inside Fort Knox. Every time that I'm there, I don't know why they think that I'm different from you. All that's true is I'm a like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show.
Since no one has actually asked the members of the Boog Movement to come on and talk about it, we have, so we wanted to kind of like surprise everybody. Because, once we started broadcasting it, then, of course, everyone's going to, freak out and say that, we're harboring or whatever. But I'm going to let them come on and talk. So right now, who I have in line? I have the Thick Boog Movement, or Thick Blue Boog line.
No, you got Yankee from Patriot Wave.
Okay, and I also got him on
you
there.
got Mark from Thick Boog line.
There you go. Cool. All right. So thank you guys for coming on to WTF Nation Radio. We appreciate y'all hanging out.
Anytime.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
So, real quick, the media has you guys freaking calling you domestic militants and all that. What's the deal with that? What? Tell us exactly. If one of you guys can, you can chime in. It doesn't matter. What are you guys exactly? What does the Boog line mean? What is the Boog? What does that mean?
Yankee, you want to take that one first? I guess the Boog to me is a kind of a grassroots response to the government kind of slowly eroding on all of our freedoms and stuff like that. Started with the 2A movement and just kind of slowly work from there. Memes kind of showing our discontent and just kind of build up into an actual on-the-ground movement showing unity and support for this.
Now for that, you guys, and I love the fact, because I'm a PSYOP guy, so the fact that you guys are using memes, to me, I love it. That hits me right in the heart. I love it.
Well, we are the mimetic-based insurgency, as the article called it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love that term, by the way.
We literally meme ourselves onto reports that get turned over to the Pentagon.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, it was
somehow Yeah, we did that. We memed on Vice. We literally called ourselves shit posters, and they took it seriously.
Right. They literally
keep cranking out articles about us. So that was absolutely hilarious.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like, you got to look at it like this. Like, here we are, with our autistic, screeching, from our dark corners of the internet, and it turned on a whole nother autistic screeching from like a more mainstream source. And so now you've got this like resonance of autistic screeching going back and forth, and the normies have no idea what to do.
Right. And that's the point is that it really just went from a freaking joke, specifically talking about how, the Second Amendment movement and all that. Cause I'm right there with you. We are supporters of the Second Amendment on WTF Nation Radio. I'll say that right now. And it was really, what's really funny is that they almost made it sound like you guys were alt-right freaking like white supremacists.
Okay, I'll take that one real quick.
Go for it.
We have, and everybody that we talk to, Base Yankee, all the boys from P-Wave, the Big Igloo boys, everybody that we associate ourselves with, we actively vet and monitor, and it's all kind of, and the great thing about it is that it's very much an individual thing. Like, we all do this individually, but it all works together. So it's really as Yankee was saying, man, it's a grassroots network. Like, we vet the people that like run the other Boogaloo meme groups and all that. And like, we don't tolerate that kind of stuff. We just don't. We don't put up with, the ethno status and all this, because when it comes down to it, yes, we are a bunch of, memeing autists, but we firmly believe what we believe, in your right to free speech. And here's the thing. I believe in an ethno status right to say whatever he wants to say. I think he's an idiot for saying it, but
and we will probably drag you in the comments. So like you said.
Well, I mean, a lot of it though is I think a lot of it is a misinterpretation of individuals that don't know the lingo. Like, I'm afraid to use specific comments on air because someone will grab that comment from, like, you've been deployed, you've been downrange, and you say, yeah, we got in a tick, and the next thing you know, oh shit, I said tick. Tick must mean something that is related to whatever, because no, that means troops in contact. But everyone says, "Hey, we got in a tick." They like to, and that's what I think. What happened with the Boogaloo? Because everybody knows the Boogaloo. It's like the dance. It's like Electric Boogaloo. It's like
well, that's the thing. It comes from that awful sequel, Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo, right? That's the
exactly.
Kind of thing. Every kind of awful sequel that's out there, it's always Electric Boogaloo. And that's where it came down to. American Revolution 2, Electric Boogaloo. It's a bad sequel nobody wants, but probably will come out if things keep going the way it is.
Here's the other thing about it, is that it constantly gets misconstrued as Civil War 2, Electric Boogaloo. And the idea, the joke behind it is not that it's a civil war, that which, there's way too many connotations of, they want to bring back slavery. And it's like, no, it's American Revolution 2.0.
Right.
It's a revolution against a tyrannical government. And the thing is, we, most of the guys that I've talked to, we would prefer that nothing is violent. We just want our rights back, And so we prefer
We just
not
want to be
have
left
a
alone.
violent revolution. We really don't. And we are purely, when we start talking about guns and training and all that, anybody who is like, let's go out and, like, bomb a federal building. We're like, whoa, dude, no, that's not us, dude. Like, you need.
Well,
to,
you guys, I mean,
we're completely defensive.
Right. The Mujahideen guys, the memes. He said that you guys have actually kicked out several extremists and more inclusive to the LGBT and minority groups too.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah. I don't care who somebody wants to sleep with.
Right.
Civil liberties. I don't give a damn.
Right. Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
It stems back from where all these articles were written at Richmond. You had every kind of color and creed down there, too, and everybody was getting along great. It felt like a music festival. That was the kind of vibe.
Right.
We went expecting all kinds of opposition, nasty words, and ended up not being that. It was funny to see how a lot of the mainstream media would then spin that into a negative thing, and then you have articles like this because we memed too hard. Sorry, guys. Our memes are just too fucking fire, I guess.
I fucking love them, man. I would say, because you guys,
they can't meme, so now they need to get the government involved to stop us.
Exactly. That's like the butthurt task force or some shit.
The normies.
The normies.
Red pilling them. So,
well, the memeing culture led to the creation of.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the whole us kind of coming together as a group with the meme culture led to the joke of me creating the whole Task Force Igloo with Washington Ready to Boog, because I feel like the founding fathers were original shit posters with some of the stuff they pulled as well.
Well, some of those things that they had posted in old historical documents were memes in themselves. I mean, against the British government. You know what I mean? I mean, or I use the monarchy, not the government, but
yeah. Well, and the thing you got to look at is that, man, you know, history may not necessarily repeat itself, but it sure as shit rhymes. You know, you're right. They were kind of memeing in print, because they knew back then that people have the attention span of a gnat, and people are no different today. If nothing, they're worse, you know. And so you've got to get a very poignant message across very quickly, and you have to do it in a way that grabs their attention and will hold that attention for like 8 seconds, because that's about all you've got. And so it has to be a great message. You know, for a while there was this long form meme that, you know, it was like a little story written out above it, and some of them were hilarious, but like, they didn't get as much engagement because they were too long and people wouldn't read them all. Like, literally, you got to have like 2 lines of text and a good picture that really lays something out super quick and easy for people to be able to pick up on, because then they're on to the next thing. But you just keep planting these little seeds of, you know, the little seeds of freedom in people's minds. Like, hey man, you're not as free as you think you are. You don't live in the liberty loving state that you were raised to think you do. And you just plant these little seeds over time. And dude, I'll tell you what, this NCRI is, I mean, they're funded from both sides of the political aisle in Washington. If you can look it up, it's all over it's all over their page. You know, the entire apparatus of the state is terrified of people thinking for themselves. And so, yeah, we do it with comedy, but we're inserting little nuggets of truth into those movies, and it scares the shit out of them.
Oh my God, it does, because they literally, it's almost like they don't get the joke, but they immediately, because I don't want to say like their minds are in the gutter or they've already got those thoughts to begin with. It's almost like, why are you afraid of a bunch of dudes memeing about the revolution? Like the original revolution, 1776. We're not talking about, there are individuals that actually get like anxious. They will get antsy when you start talking about the American Revolution, and then they look at you like, why are you talking about the Revolution, Ken? You know what I mean?
I think that's why our memes and memetics have actually taken root and spread so far and wide, not only because grassroots, because there's a kernel of truth in them. That's why you see kind of like the leftist memes, they don't go as far because it doesn't resonate with reality. I think that's why we have an advantage with that. So you see that recoil.
Memes are weak as hell.
Well, not to mention the fact that they're not trying to offend. I mean, they're not trying to offend. That's why they suck. You're not trying to offend when you do your memes. You're just, like you said, you're just busting out a fact.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
I was going to say, there's actually a meme for what you were just saying, Ice, and it's the government. Well, give me your guns. No, I'm keeping my guns because I can't trust you as the government because you're going to pull some tyrant bullshit. Oh my God, you're an anti-government person. Now we're coming to take your guns.
Yeah, really.
That's literally the progression they're following.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I gave you guys that Rutgers Miller Center for Community Protection and Resilience, that cyber swarming, mimetic warfare, and viral insurgency, dude.
Oh boy, did I love that!
Yeah, dude.
We can get into that.
Yeah. As soon as I saw that and I sent it to you guys through your peeps, I'm like, look at this shit. It's almost like individuals that have never been involved in that type or understand that type of movement, just shit talking something they don't understand. That would be like a perfect example. This whole COVID crap. Everyone's talking about this coronavirus, but a lot of the people that are talking about it are talking fucking heads. They're not the actual medical personnel that are allowed to speak about it. That's how I feel you guys are. You guys are doing, and none of the, I'm looking at some of these boog memes, aside from me laughing and spitting my coffee out sometimes. I don't see anything other than the fact that you're referencing, like, check yourself. You know what I mean? Just check yourself. You're not going to you're not going to impede the will of the people.
It's funny that you also actually mentioned the whole coronavirus thing, because they do call us a virus in here at some point. How our memes just kind of spread out and start infecting everything, and they need to stop it somehow.
Right.
Yeah, they call it a viral meme insurgency.
I fucking love it.
So and you know, what's funny is they tie us to a disease, and they tie us to, you know, because you say insurgent, and post 9/11, everyone always thinks like Taliban, Al Qaeda at that point.
Exactly.
So
they pretty much do that, right? In the Yeah, they pretty much do that right in the
in the
forward. They immediately poison the well and
Yep.
bring up those kind of thoughts and feelings well before they mention Boogaloo or anything like that.
Right.
They have you going right back to September 12th, the day after everything.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and that,
so they're
that
already
first
prepping
dude
the
that they've
reader.
got yeah, and that first dude they've got writing it up, the former AG of Maryland, I believe. It's like, oh God, this is already starting with an appeal to authority, and it's like, let's think about this authority. This guy claims to be an authority on this, the global war on terror that has cost us trillions of dollars and thousands of American lives, and accomplished absolutely dick.
Right. His name is John. His name is John. We'll call him out. His name is John J. Farmer. He's the former New Jersey State Attorney General and the Chief Counsel for the 9/11 Commission. And yeah, so
yeah, that's like
sorry. As a Yankee, yeah, Jersey leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I'm calling you out, Jersey.
Well, that kind of goes back to what you said with the talking heads, and you have a talking head giving his opinion, poisoning the well, appeal to authority, and a lot of the people in the Boog movement are veterans who've had boots on the ground and seen what an insurgency is, and seen what a fight is, and it's funny hearing somebody that's lived a soft ass life call us terrorists and things like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't even get me started on that shit. And it's really when you're talking about the so these red flag laws, and that's the thing that I kind of have the ass with is I understand the intent of when they, and this is just me, when I hear someone say common sense gun laws, to me I think it's somebody that is not in the mental capacity, like someone who's almost an invalid or like a drunk should not be handling weapons, right? That's to me, I think somebody who cannot physically, maybe just because I'm weird like that, who cannot physically manipulate a weapon that's a danger to themselves or someone else, that to me I think is common sense. You don't let somebody who can't handle a weapon handle a weapon. But
like you don't handle a 3-year-old.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
They'll come take your guns over some pot plants.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You can be
but
a
no.
straight up alcoholic and still buy a gun.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But my point being is that, like exactly like you just said, a 3-year-old does not need to be handling a pistol or a rifle that's loaded. Of course, that's what I mean by common sense gun laws. But you getting mad at me about a meme and then calling the cops on me because I pissed you off online does not require a SWAT team to come check me out. That to me,
especially not at 4:30 in the morning, and maybe or maybe not firing rounds through your window while you're sleeping.
So tell us about that story, man. What's up with that?
Oh,
dude, like you want to talk about absolutely ruining my day on Friday. So I got the news at like 9:00 in the morning, and Duncan was a member of, on Thick Boog Line, attached to our business page.
Right.
We have several groups. They're all called the Bougie Bastards groups. Because that's, it's just funny. It's what we call ourselves.
Right.
And he was a member of several of those groups. He never posted anything crazy extreme. I had several conversations, multiple different times with the guy about, developing his Boogaloo.network, and it was going to be encrypted. It was going to be off Facebook. It was going to be something that, it was just going to be a more secure way for us to chat and talk about our viral meme insurgency. This kid was talented. He was young. He was bright. He had a baby on the way. And, his family's lawyer is saying that the cops fired through the window and killed him in his sleep. That they weren't inside the house. His family is saying the same thing, but now you notice it's kind of, and please don't misunderstand me when I say that it's kind of like the Whiskey Warrior thing.
I gotcha.
The only way that it is that like all of a sudden like it's gone kind of dark, and we're not getting much information. That's the only parallel I can draw between the two, because that Whiskey Warrior thing was just a clusterfuck from the word go.
Right.
But this, like,
oh yeah,
man,
dude, the more
you look at this, yeah, but the more you look at this, the more. And the way that they're just kind of brushing it under the rug, and they're letting the whole COVID-19 thing just cover over it. We've called several news stations around us and said, hey, why aren't you guys covering this? This is what happened, and this is what's being reported. And if it weren't for this COVID-19 thing, dude, like this would have made like national news. Because I mean, hell, think about it. That like what was it? An 82-year-old man several years ago in Maryland that got red flagged, and the cops shot and killed him like in front of his wife.
Yeah.
That made national news.
Yeah.
And so you're telling me the young, bright 21-year-old entrepreneur sleeping next to his pregnant girlfriend being murdered in his sleep wouldn't have made the national news? And unfortunately, it's getting overshadowed by this whole COVID thing.
Now, what happened? What happened to his girlfriend? What happened to his girlfriend though? What's her?
She was wounded, but she survived.
And the baby?
Do you have any
as
more
far as we
info on that,
know, as far as I know, the baby's okay. But like that's what I'm saying, dude. Like the whole situation's gone dark now,
Well,
and nobody knows why.
So I was seeing some reports where now the police are trying to say he had shotguns wired to the doors and stuff, and I called BS on that one.
And he was selling fentanyl. That's
well, they had also said that his parents called the red flag to begin with, which they're adamantly denying.
Right. The parents
so it's all over the place now.
Yeah.
The thing with the shotguns is they bent over backwards and jerked themselves off over the 2 rifles and pistol they took from the house. If they would have found shotguns wired to the door, they would have tore a shoulder trying to pat themselves on the back over it, showing pictures.
Oh, well, and here's the thing. They immediately, like within what, 36 hours, they posted pictures of the guns they found in his house, but there was no pictures of shotguns rigged to doors. So if that was such a big thing, where are those pictures? Because, dude, here's the thing. We know that they're full of shit on that, because if they had found those, dude, they'd have been blasting those pictures all over the national news.
Right.
And at least for a very short blurb on,
Right.
Lester Holt on NBC Nightly News would have said that would have been the picture next to Lester Holt's head. Maryland extremist rigs his house to try and kill cops and is killed in a red flag raid, and they would have had the picture of the shotguns rigged to the door. Like, let's not shit ourselves.
Right.
That didn't happen. It's a lie.
Right. So the body cams. Where's the body cams? I know right.
Oh yeah, in before they're going to lose them. I know there's already a Freedom of Information Act request filed with the whole department about everything.
Right.
The warrant exactly leading up to that, all that stuff. But in before all that disappears and goes away, or is held for internal investigation, because that's what happens with these things, or it just kind of disappears and goes away.
So
almost kind of like the Whiskey Warrior thing.
Is it kind of
which I was there at actually?
Yeah, I was about to ask you what happened with that. I mean, for those that are not familiar with it, and I mean, I know you're not taking a side or not, whatever, but what happened with that whole event?
I'm still confused by it. All right, it was an absolute clusterfuck. All right,
I hear you.
think what Whiskey Warrior 556 had claimed was that police were red flagging him because of 30-round magazines, standard capacity, which is illegal here in New York, which is a whole other issue I'll get into at some point. But he put out a call for help, saying, "Hey, listen, there's a SWAT team down my doorway, down my driveway, about to kick my door in. Send help." I think it came out later that he actually had felony arrest warrants for domestic violence and all other stuff like that, which we still haven't heard from him. I think he was just released maybe a couple weeks ago under special conditions not to talk to anybody. So.
But what was weird was a lot of people that know how to look into systems couldn't find those domestic violence warrants.
Yeah, so it's very weird, that whole situation. I still haven't forgotten about it. I'm a Yankee. I'm a New Yorker. So it's one of those kind of things that it put everybody on the radio, and then 3 days later, we have all this, boogaloo is for right-wing extremists. We got to watch out for it. From like the EDL and things like that.
Right.
So the timing was quite convenient on all of that.
So here's the thing. The way that study said. They were really making it like they were really making you guys look like fucking insects. I mean, they even said just as swarming insects elicit signals that can recruit entire colonies to converge on an enemy or prey. The Whiskey Warrior event demonstrates how the Boogaloo meme can tactically alarm recruit followers. Are they really like fucking saying you guys are just? I mean, you sent like cryptic message to people and shit. What the fuck?
See, they call us.
Dude, if we were that powerful, then we wouldn't be having to do what we do.
Right. I mean, you guys.
But it goes back to that meme that has been circulating for years now. That that if we weren't a threat, then their propaganda wouldn't be necessary.
Of course. Oh, I know all about that shit, man.
Well, on the other hand, is they call it a swarm of insects, but look at a police response to something very minor, and you'll see 15 squad cars swarming from multiple jurisdictions for something as simple as a fight in a parking lot.
Well, they call that in that type of medic stuff. They call it in-group. What do they call that shit?
In-group signaling.
In-group signaling. That's right. In-group signaling, and they call that. Well, basically, what they were trying to say. That's why I was asking you guys about the demographics, because you guys have Muslims, Hispanics, blacks, LGBT in your followership. I don't say followership, but you guys that post and share memes. And they're now trying to connect you guys to right-wing militia groups and the extreme Boogaloo sites, to which most of them have law enforcement personnel on them too. So,
yeah, dude, tons of law enforcement and former and active military.
Right.
And we span every spectrum. I mean, for God's sakes, dude, like there are fights in the Boogaloo meme groups about whether or not we're going to let furries in. Like, and the consensus is pretty much like, hey man, put them out front. Like at least make cannon fodder. Like I mean, seriously, like okay.
Well, somebody's got to
of the weird.
Somebody's got to be.
Okay, man,
somebody's got to be Cav. Somebody's got to be Cav.
Hey, I know some
I usually wait and let Ice do these interviews just because it's easier to have one voice. But I'm sorry, what?
A furry. Do you know what a furry is?
Furries? No, I saw that CSI episode. What?
You know what a furry is?
Let them in.
However, the terrifying thing is I've seen them outshoot most people on the range while wearing their stupid costumes. All right, that's the terrifying part.
They got a fox head on, and like they're drilling like sub MOA at 500 yards, and you're like,
dressed up like.
What do you even see out of that?
Dressed up like fucking Goofy.
when you have Officer Judy Hopps from Zootopia out there out shooting John Wick, it's a little bit frightening.
Oh man! So this guy recommended that there should be an investigation on social media communities and groups that traffic in the promulgation of threatening and hateful memes and conspiracy. To me, the way I see it, that's a straight freaking just me. This is just a straight attack on the freedom of speech. That's it. I mean,
absolutely.
It seems that they're mad that their ideas aren't working. They're mad that we're more popular than they am, so they have to go bring in Big Daddy government to bring the hammer down because they're losing.
Oh, dude, hoes are big mad. So, and but here's the thing, and here's why we fall back on in the meme insurgency, why we fall back on the Second Amendment, because what is the most important is the First Amendment and your right to assemble with who you would like to talk about what you see fit, to worship as you want. And without the Second Amendment, that goes away. So the Second Amendment speaks to that first principle. And that principle is you should be free to speak and act and think the way that you want to. As long as you are doing no harm to anyone else, you should be free to do whatever the fuck you want. And that to them is threatening because you can't think different than them. If you do, then you're the enemy. And so the enemy is not really the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is in the way of the true enemy, and that's the First Amendment.
Right now, you guys have currently of the named groups that they have. Thick Boog Line and Patriot Wave were like the number 1 and 2. Are you guys like in competition? You guys like? I don't understand. Like Patriot Wave's got more followers than the Boog Line, but it does. I'm just breaking balls. But they put you guys in the top two fucking. I would say it's a targeting bracket. That's what it looks like. It's like they're specifically targeting you.
Absolutely,
100%. But no, there's no competition between TBL and Patriot Wave. I'm actually good friends with Brandon, who works for TBL. So he's on the Patriot Wave Discord and all that. So we're all good friends.
And I'm the guy that does the Boog. Well, I'm the dude that does the Boog Line flags, and me and Mark have no problem with each other. And I want everybody to understand that we're cool. You guys don't have to keep telling him that I stole his design.
No,
yeah, that's another thing. Everybody thinks the community
we were talking about that. Yeah, we were talking about that before the show got started. Like, dude, I came up with that flag because at the time, what was one of the biggest meme groups on Facebook before it got zucked, and then it got zucked again and then again. One of the guy that started it, Josh, was like, dude, we need a symbol that we can rally behind, like a flag. And I was like, hold on, I got you, fam. And literally like 5 minutes and Photoshop later, I came back. I'm like, hey, we're the Big Igloo group. Like, how about this? And it was a play on the Thin Blue Line. It's like, we got the Hawaiian line because we're here to party. Like it's 1776.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, real quick. So I know your explanation of this. What was give us the history or what is the icon meaning of it, theme and symbol of the Hawaiian T-shirt, about the Hawaiian shirt. That's right. Everybody. What's up with that?
I'll take this one.
Go for it.
The Hawaiian shirt it came from Boogaloo, shorting it down to Big Luau and Big Igloo. I think that comes from we got to wear something else. Hawaiian shirts are cool and all. But if you want to talk about the Boogaloo and the Big Luau and stuff like that, well, we're going to be doing a couple different things. One, we're going to be drunk as fuck, or we're going to be wearing Hawaiian shirts because they're styling. and 3, we're going to be roasting pigs. So
exactly. Well, and you know, and the whole Big Igloo thing, from everything that I've gathered, and I think this was even before my time. I mean, I think this was like you know, early 2018 on like the Chans and Reddit when the whole thing got started. Some boomer was in there typing up like, "Oh, you dumb kids and your boogaloo, and you know you're not going to do shit." And his autocorrect changed it to Big Igloo, and everybody just roasted him.
Oh my God, awesome!
So somewhere I saw somebody had done the original. It was a Reddit screen grab, and it was like, and he's like, Big Igloo. I meant boogaloo. You know, damn autocorrect. And dude, and then he just got. I mean, dude, he got dragged like I've never seen, and it stuck. So that's how the Big Igloo came to be. Was literally everyone's bane of their existence. Autocorrect. You know, autocorrect is this fucking boomer into Big Igloo, and we're like, yep, we're stealing that. You know, and it stuck, and the Big Igloo turned into the Big Luau because they were all and. You know, Big Luau was probably another autocorrect thing, to be honest. I don't even know exactly how that came about. But it was like, this is perfect because, you know, there ain't no laws when you're drinking claws. We're wearing Hawaiian shirts. We're roasting pigs.
There ain't no laws. There ain't no laws when you're drinking claws. Awesome.
We've actually filed for tax-exempt status as a church, the Church of the Big Igloo, and our communion wine is a Blue Hawaiian with the sweet Hawaiian roll croutons.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh yeah, there we go.
The Holy Sacrament, amen.
Of excellence.
It's a raise hell, praise Dale.
Oh man, awesome. So that's basically what it is. So the symbology of the Hawaiian shirt. Is there a specific, like, it could be any color Hawaiian shirt, or does it have to be a specific design, or just any Hawaiian shirt?
Dude, it's just like the movement itself. It doesn't matter exactly what the pattern is, as long as the pattern is Hawaiian. Kind of like, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, whatever, gay, straight. We don't care, as long as you believe in liberty.
Right.
You're one of us. Well, it doesn't. As long as it's a Hawaiian print, we don't care what color it is.
Right. You know, that's interesting because they don't talk about for a lot of shit talkers and for these access for these guys over at Rutgers University. And the amount of what it looks like they're trying to break down your guys' demographic. Why haven't they broken down your demographic to find out the diverse membership that you guys have? I don't understand that.
Because they wouldn't.
Because
like
they
what
can't.
they found.
Because it's too diverse. And the thing is, they would literally end up having to shoot holes in their own way of thinking, which is, we're going to break people down into these certain special groups, and then we're going to break them down again and break them down again. And it's like, dude, eventually you break down to the ultimate minority, which is the individual. And that's where, and I think they've tried, and that's where they end up, is they're like, dude, these guys are all so different. You can't really categorize them all. Like, you could categorize them in hugely broad terms, like how many of them are white. Okay.
Right.
You know, 60% of them are white.
Right.
But, you know, that's not a big enough majority to make us look like a bunch of white supremacists.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
If that's the case, we're the worst white supremacists you've ever met.
With T-shirts with Hawaiian shirts on.
Yeah, right. we can't even get the white hoods right. Like, you know,
you wear T-shirts.
Like, you know, Jesus, dude, we're so confused. But remember, we're autistic, so please have patience with us.
So here's the thing: we're able to for U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. We can grab our own stat. Like, we know for a fact that I can tell you if we're trending up and down. I can break down the demographics. I mean, we have it amongst ourselves on who we need to go with and all that. I don't understand for some big group like this that wants to talk about medic warfare and calling you guys insects or comparing you to insects and viral insurgency and cyber swarming, which is funny as hell because academics really blow. Like you said, they can't meme. Academics blow at that shit.
Terrible.
I mean, they're extremely terrible. Why is it that they're why are they saying you're radicalizing? I'm not seeing a joke talking about the revolution is not, to me, radicalizing. I don't understand why is there some sort of, have they tried to infiltrate you guys too, to try to grab freaking, have you found out some people, like reporters?
There's glow feds all over.
Okay.
I mean, all over the movement.
100%
glow feds, and they're pretty obvious.
So they'll come in there. They'll come in there with their
like, hello, fellow Mujahideen. Does anyone want to share pics of their illegal machine guns and destructive devices? Yeah, I've seen both ways where that's both satire and legitimate. So you got to watch for that.
No, I was about to say.
I mean, here's the thing. these guys roll in, and it's like, this guy's not autistic enough to be one of us. Like, there's not enough reading coming out of this guy, and he speaks in complete sentences, and he uses actual punctuation and grammar. Like, this guy's not one of us.
And he's not autocorrecting.
Well, and you talked about a lot of people, like, you know, there is Leos in there. There's a lot of ex-Leos, ex-military. And for the people that are ex-Leos, as soon as we see some conversation, it's like, no way, fucker, I know what you are.
Yeah, and you guys, now correct me if I'm wrong, and Mulder, you can probably help me out with this too. This is the first media outlet you guys have spoken with, right?
The Associated Press reached out to some of us after Duncan was murdered, but that was more to his situation in general of the, you know, police unjustly murdering him while he slept.
What about the other
versus
guys?
The actual movement.
Yeah, but what about you guys though? The other guys, the PW and the Boog Line. You guys have been reached out by the.
The only thing that we've done was we went on the Observations podcast on Roads to Liberty, and you know we were contacted by my business partner Justin was contacted by somebody, I can't remember who it was, but we declined to do any sort of interview with them because it was I can't remember if it was like somebody who was a freelance writer for like HuffPost or something, and we're like, fuck you, dude, we're not talking to you. Like,
right.
you're
You
gonna
knew
do
that was going to get
is
twisted.
everything. Yeah, like it's like, dude, you're not even worth our time talking to. Like, all you're gonna do is spin what we say. We could lay out a Patrick Henry-esque speech, and all you're gonna take out is, you know, you're gonna take out the word "kill" and say, "Oh, they're calling to kill everybody," and it's like, dude, we're not even gonna talk to you. Like, go fuck yourself.
Right.
If I could jump in real quick,
Go for it.
Ready Boogie, Uprise, and Big Igloo Boys. I know you guys are still waiting. We didn't forget about you. So
yeah. Well, I mean. Are they part of the bracketed target list that these guys are saying that they like targeting you, man?
What's really shitty about that bracket is a lot of us had bigger follower accounts than the people on that bracket, and it's like, hey, wait a minute, fucker, I should be on there.
Oh, dude, yeah, like, and you know, to all the boys that, like, you know, that didn't make the list. I mean, me and my business partner at Thick Boog Line, we were kind of like, damn, dude, that was literally like one of the first things we said. We're like, dude, there's pages that are like way bigger than us, and they didn't get mentioned. Like, how in the hell did we hit like top slot on this shit? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and that's
probably because we were at Richmond and we shit posted way too hard.
And that's what I'm saying. You got,
and that's just it. Yeah, exactly. I think it was really like whoever was heavily invested in Richmond, and like, dude, you know, we put Brandon on the ground there, and he was with all you P-Wave guys, like, dude, and we collabed on that big time. And so I think that's what threw us up into, you know, like spots 1 and 2, because they were
probably,
like, oh God, look at these guys marching with their rifles. And it's like,
well, they freaked out and called us a militia. You know, they had Vice that was interviewing us. We're like, no, we're from literally all over the place. No, we're not organized at all. Are you kidding me? We put this together almost last minute. We have no idea what we're doing. There's only
exactly, like,
us, man.
Yeah,
we're not a militia at all.
Going on here.
So when you guys were there, did you have what was your interaction with law enforcement? What was their feeling? What was the mood with them? Because there was a couple of pictures that they had like laughing with you guys and shit.
Yeah, so we happened to actually park about 4.5 miles away because we didn't feel like paying for parking. We're a bunch of cheap fucks. So we're rucking in our full battle rattle, and I think we're not maybe 10 minutes in when a cop rolls up in his SUV and goes, "Hey guys, how are you? By the way, if you take that shortcut, you're gonna get there a lot faster. Thanks for coming out. Have a good day," and drives off. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." Then after that, everything was tension free. Yeah, even down there, it was fine. The cops kept the distance. They did their thing. No aggression from anybody. Like I said, it was like a music festival. It was great. So
we had the exact same experience. We sent 17 guys to the rally day in Nashville on the 10th, and my business partner Justin was there, and it was the same thing. It was nowhere near as big as Richmond. I think a total of like 60 people showed up, and 17 of them were with us and carpooled together. I mean, I think we were like the single largest group of people there, and it was just all just East Tennessee Boog boys, and the state troopers and the Capitol Police were literally like coming up and shaking their hands and being like, "Hey man, we're glad you guys are here. We really support what you guys are doing," because like they are hardcore Second Amendment supporters, and they don't agree with any of the stuff that's going on. And like one of them walked up to my business partner Justin. He goes, "Dude, I love that Thick Boog Line hat." And Justin was like, "Oh, you know Thick Boog Line?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, I follow him on Facebook." And Justin was like, like, not to be a dick, but like, yeah, I own that. And he's like, are you kidding me? And this was like a cop, you know, like a state trooper, you know, like, and he was like fangirling over Justin, which, you know, I mean, he's got that chiseled look. I mean, I can see why, you know, but like, literally, dude, like, this cop was like fangirling over Justin, and it's like, dude, we're just a bunch. I mean, in our daily lives, like, we're hammer slingers and paint slingers. Like, that's our day jobs, and
right.
Like, and we just believe in the Second Amendment and people's right to speak and live how they feel, you know, and like, somehow that turns us into like a rock star with people who love the Second Amendment. Like, that's not what we're going for here, dude. Like, and
no, I think what it is that you guys bring a unique level of awareness to it. I see you guys as more of a awareness thing of anything else. Like, I mean, you're literally, like you just said, that some of the freedoms that are being taken, for one is taken, another one will be taken away within force. You know what I mean? So it's not I mean, just embrace it, man. I mean, just be cool. I mean, be cool to the audience, and hey, how y'all doing? And that's about it. You know, that's the best you can do. But
yeah, I mean, but you got to think, dude. Like, it's weird for us because it's like, you know, to have people like recognize our stuff like kind of out in the wild, so to speak. We're like, you know, we thought that we were like confined to this dark little corner of the internet, and it turns out we're not. You know, and of course, you know, that whole report.
What incensed me about that report, what made me mad when it went through their summary and conclusions, and they literally were comparing you guys to ISIS.
Yep.
I literally that's why I immediately, again, that's why I sent it to you guys. Hey, you guys need to come on air. You guys need to talk about this. This is straight bullshit. This is I literally have the ass just reading how it says. I mean, I'll quote this too. I mean, I'm quoting it right out of the manual. We'll post the study too. The strategy facilitated a contagious new hybrid social media operation that allowed the jihadis to crowdsource terror and propaganda outside. According to our research, the Boogaloo enthusiast who refer himself as the Mujahideen may have stolen a page from the Islamist State playbook. I'm gonna tell you what, dude. That right there, you're comparing Americans to the Islamic State, is only going to piss us off more than anything else.
Yep. And the thing is, dude, that has actually caught the attention of some normies, and like, they thought that we were big then. Well, it's like, thanks for the shout out, dude, because we went from 11,000 followers to like 27,000 followers within a matter of days, and our Instagram went from like 80 followers to now we're at like almost 11,000 followers.
Right.
You know, here shortly after. It's like, thanks for the exposure, dickhead.
Oh, it's
like, you know,
I got almost 100. I got almost 100 of the Boog Line flags out to people to counter the whole Blue Line bullshit we see everywhere.
Well, not to mention
because it's a culture war.
It literally is a culture war. But see, here's the thing: is that they're talking about this. It's not a second civil war. It is a revolutionary war. That's what we're talking about. I mean, that we're not. You know, we're not moving into this fucking realm of we're trying to bring the war to the south, between the north and the south. No, we're talking about the oppressive individuals that want to come in and tell the government, or tell us, we the people, that you can't do this and you can't do that. You can't have freedom of speech, to the point to where they literally, in the second paragraph, dude, because I do messaging. I did messaging for quite some time in my military career before I retired. The thing that made me mad is that they said a civil messaging information vaccine approach against weaponized information and malicious memes is merited by the methods we outlined here. They literally want to sterilize your voice. I mean,
they want,
everyone's voice.
They want to sterilize thought. Period.
Right.
That's the end goal. And it's not just ours. It's everyone's. They want sterile thought from the entire populace. That's the end goal, and we're in the way because we say, no, dude, we're going to say what the fuck we want to say, and if it offends you, then we're going to say it even louder.
And the thing what makes you mad, though, is that it shouldn't offend you. Wanting to have freedom of speech should not offend you. Wanting to have the Second Amendment should not offend you. The Fifth should not offend you. None of that should offend Americans.
No, It shouldn't. But
No, and they want to compare us to terrorists and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure we all know the Constitution and all the amendments, Bill of Rights, forwards and backwards, better than any of them, right?
I think so.
I can guarantee nobody even gives love to the Third Amendment.
I
do.
Well, some of you guys actually have gone out and fought against these same groups that they're trying to compare us to. That's what makes me mad too. Is that you're comparing us. You're comparing us to, or you're comparing the movement, I should say, to the liking of ISIS when it's not the case. You're literally, you had men and women die fighting against ISIS, fighting against Al Qaeda, fighting against terrorism in itself, and you're literally trying to compare something like that. Don't fuck with our veterans. Don't fuck with them.
Yeah. Well, and here's where I'm going to get serious for a second. Okay.
Send it.
They are comparing us to a group of people who believe that my 11-year-old daughter should have to wear a bed sheet around because she's a second-class citizen, that her word in court is worth only half of what a man's is, that she can essentially be sold to a man for a dowry, that my good friend that I grew up with in California, who happens to be a gay man, and like I'd take a bullet for this dude, that they would throw him off a building. You're going to compare me to that? Go fuck yourself.
Not to mention the fact you guys actually have a Muslim member of your crew with you.
Yeah, right. Like we don't give a shit. Like as long as you believe in freedom, we don't care who you worship, who you sleep with,
right?
Who you idolize. You want to snuggle with your waifu body pillow. I don't care. Like, do you believe in free speech? Yes. Do you believe in the right to bear arms? Yes. Do you believe that we should be secure in our property, our homes, and our person? Yes. Okay, we're cool. It's that simple.
Right.
There's nothing else to it. It's that simple. And it is literally, we are free men that just want to be left alone to live our lives as we see fit. Just leave us alone. That's all we're asking. And that's the problem with these people, is they can't just leave other people alone. They feel that they have this moral high ground, this moral superiority that, that I don't know what's best for me in my life. And it's like, excuse me, and they talk about, they love to talk about, in the social justice warrior circles, you don't have the lived experience of this group of people, so you can't know what it's like. Motherfucker, you don't have my lived experience, so how are you going to tell me how to live when you haven't walked a mile in my shoes, but you're going to sit there from on high and tell me how to live my life, and you've never even done what I do for a living? Like, how are you going to do that? You haven't raised my kid. You haven't been a part of my family dynamic. You haven't lived in the community that I live in. You haven't worked the job that I work in. You haven't gone to the church that I go to. How can you tell me how to live my life when you know nothing about me?
Right. And immediately bracket you against an extremist group when if you know all about this extremist group and then you're trying to bracket it onto you. They literally have you both, guys. They have the thick Boog line and Patriot Wave. I'll just say PW and TBL for here on out, because I know some people are going to tune in. You can load up on the podcast, check it out. They literally have had you guys bracketed down specifically through your merchandise, your memes. They're even accusing you. I mean, what they're giving you. They are literally accusing you of being like the anarchist cookbook online. I mean, that's what I'm looking at right now. Is they're thinking that you guys, like you said, they think you guys are a bunch of Timothy McVeighs that are going to go out and do some shit.
If we were, we would have already.
I was about to say.
That's how it is. But we're trying not to opt for violence. I mean, we still believe that there's a path to go to fix this. People just got to stop fucking around and just listen to us and then remedy the problems. We're trying to air our grievances here, but they keep shouting us down at every turn.
Well,
so at some point, it's like you keep.
Go ahead.
You keep pushing us and pushing us and pushing us, and it's like, well, guys, you're not giving us any other option here. Come on.
Yeah, we're trying. They're gonna listen. Because the Twitter right now, you're being broadcasted and podcasted on fucking 15 different platforms, and especially Twitter right now. They're probably losing their shit just hearing you say that. You know what I mean?
I was wondering what the reading I was hearing in the Discord.
Yeah, right. But like, so that's what I say. Like on the pages, on the Discord, I'll talk to them. I'll debate people, and full on. I've talked to every single kind of worldview, and I try to de-radicalize people and stuff like that. I've talked to commies. I've talked to NatSocs, Nazis, ethno-state people, and I've brought them down to a nice middle ground. We have some common ground at some point. And we go, oh, okay, that idea makes sense. So when you actually have that dialogue, you guys actually have a compromise that comes together. But what they're doing now is they don't want to listen. So there's unfortunately no compromise that's happening, unless the only compromise is further eroding our rights, which they think that's okay.
Right.
Well, they're taking such a tribal mentality that you aren't going to change some minds.
Well, and honestly, they're actually trying to use the government by proxy to silence you. That's my biggest thing. Is they're trying to get the government by proxy to silence you, because to me, I think it's a crock of shit. I mean, they have literally got you guys.
Oh, it is. Because their ideas aren't good. They
Right.
can't do it organically. You know, they're losing the meme war. They can't meme. So they have to get somebody else to step in and intervene.
Listen,
because, oh, God, it's hateful and scary.
Exactly. It's
Oh,
just
my God, we got to do something.
the way you
about
said that. The way you said it. They're losing the meme war. I love the way. It's like we've been.
We are wiping the floor.
It's great.
You brought up the Nazis.
It's like Shaquille O'Neal playing like a Pee-wee basketball league. I mean,
But
like
you guys-
we're just striding by.
But
them,
you
like,
guys,
knocking them over
you
with our
guys have,
knees.
you guys have
And,
slammed.
every once in a while, we turn around like, sorry.
Right. But you guys have slammed Nazis online too, which is fucking hilarious. How come they don't talk about that when you guys straight like you ridiculed not? I mean, you fuck with Nazis and Klans people all the fucking time. You fucking troll them
Because it
too.
doesn't fit their worldview. It doesn't fit their worldview. That's right. Yeah, we'll rock Nazis the same way we'll rock commies. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You don't fit in that liberty mindset where everybody kind of fits in. As long as you don't bother anyone else, you're good. They don't like that. They'd rather label everyone into a box. It doesn't fit their worldview. That's what we are.
Right.
We're the most inclusive. We're the most diverse. Have the biggest group of diversity, and that upsets them because they're all diversity first. So, like, I can hear the from here.
Exactly. And, it's like you go into the politics of it, like, the party of diversity has two white males over 75.
You ain't lying. We were just talking about that. We were just talking about that, man.
Okay.
Agreeing, and they're agreeing with each other. That's the thing. They're both arguing / agreeing with each other. Arguing
It's
to
like Jack Johnson and John Jackson from the Futurama whenever it was two clones running against each other for president.
Right. Exactly.
But the Nazi thing comes from the people that wore the skull mask, and they have connected that to Adam
Let me
Wathan.
refute that because I know
Yeah.
Wade wears a skull all the time. I wear an American flag just because. But skulls are fucking cool. That's the only reason why we wear them.
The dumb thing about
How many
that, though,
people wear
is
skulls?
do you remember the movie Harsh Times from 2005?
Yeah.
Fucking Christian Bale wore a skull mask when he was a ranger murking dudes in Afghanistan in that movie. So that movie predates the Adam Wathan by 10 years. So no, it's not Nazis. It was just fucking cool looking.
Yeah. It was so. Yeah.
Listen, I would have gone Ghost from Call of Duty.
Yeah, I was about to say it's Ghost from Call of Duty. Exactly.
Yes, and really, dude, like we are basement dwellers that love to play video games, and like Ghost was like one of our heroes.
Fuck
And
yeah,
that's
dude.
Really, the big.
I think
place
I
it
put
came
it
from.
as that we were. I told Vice that we were like heavily armed autists who love liberty. That's probably the best way I can put it out there.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the thing about the whole skull mask thing. Like, dude, like soldiers in the IDF, like the Israeli Defense Force had to literally put out a memorandum and say, look, you guys have to stop wearing these masks. And they were wearing them because they were cool. And it's like, so are we aligning ourselves with neo-Nazis doing that, or are we aligning ourselves with the IDF? Like, and you
With
ask them that, and
Jewish
their
Nazis.
fucking heads explode. We're Jewish Nazis. That's what we are. We're Jewish Nazis. Like, that's like my boy Darian. He's on the National Council of New Sons of Liberty, and he's black, and it's like, dude, you are the worst white supremacist ever. And he's
Dude,
like,
I know. I was hoping he'd come on too, along with your LGBT and your freaking and your Muslim member. I mean, obviously scheduling and stuff like that. I would just because I wanted more Re. If that makes any sense, I want more Re. I feed off of Re.
Right.
I'm a psyop guy. I mean, we look like train wrecks, cleavage, and fucking the sun. You don't want to look at it, but you want to fucking check it out, right? So that's what you want. You want the Re. So I really wanted you guys, and I really wanted them to come on, but obviously, scheduling. Dude, I think. So are you guys going to have a report? Because they got you. I mean, this Rutgers guys. I mean, they got your pictures in there. They got your freaking. They got they got everything that you guys do. They literally have bracketed your. We're gonna post that article. We're gonna post that report on the WTF Nation Radio Facebook page. But they've like literally had bracketed you down and to the point where they were talking about the that you guys were violent against cops. You guys were violence against cops because they were talking about when Virginia was passing their gun law of taking assault weapons, and there was a meme of a cop on fire, and immediately they honed it on that. Did you guys tell Vice that that's what the fuck you talking about, or that you're not getting the fucking the meaning of the meme?
Yeah, like you're not getting the meme because, you know, and Yankee can speak to this too, but it's like, you know, we are not explicitly anti-cop, but there are a lot of cops in this movement, you know, and specifically a lot of sheriff's deputies. You know, a lot of your city, and especially large city, you know, departments tend to be a little bit more of the, you know, from what I've seen, my experiences, you know, you tend to see a little bit more of the jackbooted type. You know, sheriff's deputies, especially where I live, tend to be, you know, they live in the community, they're part of it, you know, they're there as peace officers, and those guys we're totally cool with. You know, if they believe in our rights the way that we do, and they're not going to step on them, then, you know, it's just like anybody else. I'm going to leave them alone. You know,
in fact, there was a bunch of sheriffs and sheriff's deputies down in Richmond protesting with us in full uniform.
I was about to.
So they were down there on our side. Yeah.
Yeah, they got. How are they doing? Because I know they were getting read on other social media platforms. So I was just wondering, are they doing okay? Did anybody get any? Did they get any pushback? Did they get any? I mean, what was the
probably by the governor? I think their constituents probably loved what they were doing because sheriffs are an elected position. That's why I believe they're probably the most constitutionally sound law enforcement officer that's there. Unlike, you know, police commissioners or chiefs who are generally appointed by a politician.
Right.
So sheriffs are upholding to their people. You do a bad job, you'll get voted out. You know.
Right.
So that's why I have a vested interest in being a part of that community. You know, they have to win an election. They have to be with them. They've got to talk with them. They got to deal with their issues specifically. So I think they're doing fairly well in their own counties. I'm not sure about their, you know, public opinion, let's say, outside of their counties and generally around the country. I haven't heard too much after Richmond about that. Everything just seemed to kind of die down.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and you know, and there are guys that follow us who are just vehemently anti-cop. Doesn't matter who they are, and you know, I guess my appeal to them would be like, you know, if these guys are not actually going to step on your constitutional rights, then are they really your enemy? You know, that'd be the question that I would pose to people. You know, and the thing is, there's a lot of them who won't. There are some that will. You know, but it's just like, but to me, to throw them all into one category because of the job that they're doing, you know, there are guys who got into law enforcement because they truly want to keep their communities safe. You know, because there are scumbags out there, and they want to protect the good people from the scumbags. Like, I get that, and I fully support that. That's great. You know, but then there are a lot of jackbooted thugs who go into it because it's a power trip.
Yeah.
But you can't. And the thing is, to me, it seems intellectually dishonest to throw all cops into the same category when we are so vocal about don't try and throw us into all these categories that you've set up for us. We are our own individual people, and it seems incredibly intellectually dishonest for us to do that to another group of people based on the job that they're doing when we don't know them personally. You know, now I do know some cops who, like, personally know them, who are absolute pieces of shit. I do know some cops who are wonderful people who are like, no, dude, I will never go and, you know,
shit, dude.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's like fucking. It's just like, so you know some good soldiers and you know some shitbags. You know what I mean? You're gonna.
It's the spectrum of humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but,
it's just like that.
But like Mujahideen for Liberty just said, we're anti-law enforcement, not anti-peace officer, because there's a difference between a peace officer and a police officer. And most sheriff's deputies, like you were describing, are peace officers. They want to do as little as possible to keep the community in homeostasis, to where nothing's changing, everything's good, nobody's fighting, and the peace is kept. Whereas a police officer is mostly there to generate revenue for the state, township, district, whatever. Because when they're out there writing tickets and stuff, and you're fining someone for a crime where there's no victim but the state, you're just a tax collector.
All right. I really find it amazing that there's more, because I remember in some I know in some states if you get a cop behind you, you're gonna get pulled over no matter what. It can't be a cop just behind you.
That happened to me in Maryland.
Yeah.
I was doing the exact speed limit, and I locked eyes with a trooper. I just went, all right,
here it goes. Yeah, exactly.
They pulled out and went, all right, there's the cherries and berries. There we go.
Yep, exactly that. And there are some members of the law enforcement community that actually feel that citizens should not have weapons. Period. And they get really like you said, there are some shitbags that get overzealous in enforcement of that. I mean,
oh, they'll go hard.
Yeah.
I've seen quite a lot of cops who actually don't care about guns at all. They're like, yeah, if I didn't need it for my job, I wouldn't carry about it. I wouldn't carry it. And if they don't care about their own, duty weapon and that kind of, expressing the Second Amendment that way, they don't care about your rights at all. They're like, well, then nobody should have it then.
Right. So you guys,
they will bust everyone's balls.
So you both TBO and PW, you guys are fairly new. I mean, literally like fairly as far.
Yankee, how long you guys been up? Yankee, how long have you guys been going?
I think we've been going since January of 2019. We've been up for about a year or so, but we were doing like war wave edits, the glitch wave kind of stuff like that. That was our primary content because it was just cool and aesthetically pleasing. I only really came on Patriot Wave, let's say, the last 8 months or so, really. I pulled my own page up and probably right around Richmond as well. I'm like, everyone's got one. I'll do it too, just like, shit post a bit more.
Right.
My own time.
And
so
I guess we came about October 24th. Like, literally, I can tell you the day. Like, October 24th is when we were like, I guess we're a thing. So, like that's when we started selling stickers because people were like, dude, I need stickers to put on my car. And I'm like, I had my paint truck wrapped by a local vinyl company, and I went to them and I was like, hey, can you guys make stickers? And they're like, hell yeah, we can make stickers. So, like, we sell stickers that like it's 3M vinyl that has like a clear it has a clear UV resistant clear coat over the top. Like, people are like, damn, dude, these are some good things and like good stickers. And it's like, well, yeah, dude, they're made out of like eco wrap vinyl.
Yeah,
so
I was about to say, yeah, right. I mean, I want to see like a tint, like a window tint of the Igloo. You know what I mean? Like. I mean, that'd be where it's like a faded gray looking fucking some shit, or the flag, because those flags, I'm telling you, they're starting to catch. I mean, they're actually starting to say, dude. I have friends that have gone to Rutgers, and I don't want to do like you said. I don't want to clump them all in the same group. Like this dude, man. I was literally freaking. I was seething looking at this shit. Has he come on the net to talk to you guys? Has he come on and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you guys and let you know what's going on"? And for a group that's a not-for-profit organization, they seem to be very non-independent and non-neutral.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any journalist has reached out to Patriot Wave at all, probably since Richmond, and they just happened to pull us to the side because you looked extra cool and extra tactical to the point where people thought we were all special forces. It was hilarious. we made the joke that we were special forces, and I guess it caught on. And they put that in one of the articles there. They're like, "Oh yeah, we haven't had this much fun since special forces." I'm like, "Oh God, I actually think we are." Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, see, most of it though.
So we became a living meme then. Then we
right.
did the conga line of freedom and the rest of that.
Right.
So I guess that kind of pulled us out to the side.
Right.
But aside from that, we haven't had any media contact since then.
Oh well, you're waiting. You're probably gonna get it now.
We're waiting
because I have.
I'll definitely interview anybody. Let's go.
Yeah, I've
get taken out of contact.
No, I think some of the people that I talk to in the media circles would be curious to know because I'm not. I mean, just like how we're interviewing, everybody that comes in to get interviewed, they're going to come in here, and I'm asking questions just to ask questions. I'm not pointing anything or whatever. I mean, of course, there's a little bit of bias with me because I support the Second Amendment. So, I mean, I'll say a little tad bit biased to the cause, but I don't understand why everyone's talking shit about you guys being extreme. That was the biggest heartburn with me, is that some of you guys are veterans. Some of you, like you said before, man, some of you guys are LGBT. Some of you guys are Muslim. Some of you guys are Hispanics, blacks, African Americans. And to put you in that bracket, dude, just they're literally just placing American citizens in that bracket, dude. I was just incensed when I saw that. They're losing the meme war.
But
well, and here's
the
thing.
Spectrum.
Yeah, right.
Well,
here's the big thing. What it comes down to is that they are going to try and hit us with the label that the American public knows and reviles the most. And if it was 1987, they would be calling us commies. Okay. If this was 1942, they'd be calling us Nazis. It's easier now. People are like, oh, this whole because. They try to connect us to Nazis, and most of your like normies have caught on, like the Nazis aren't really a thing. Like
normies, okay. What's somebody asked
boogeyman.
Somebody,
and they're not.
Somebody asked, what is the what's a normie?
Oh God.
You are.
A normie is just an everyday normal. Yeah, right. It's an everyday normal person who has no idea what's going on.
Gotcha.
People who aren't involved in the culture war who don't understand these terms. If you haven't been red pilled yet, or you're not, social justice warrior, then yeah, you're probably a normie.
Yeah, and being a normie is not a bad thing. Like, congratulations.
No, not at all.
You don't live with the crushing demoralization of this autism like we do.
Yeah. Oh my God! Yeah, no. So somebody asked. I gotta ask. Hey, the questions from the fans. They say, hey, what's normie ice? I gotta ask that question. So that way you guys, no, because there's some,
and it's and it's like, hey, what that basically means is that you are blissfully ignorant of this, and so you just get to go about your life living it the way that that you see fit. Yeah, and the problem is that we want to be that way, and we've seen too much, and we can't be. We want to be a normie. We want
We're
to
victims
be
of the culture
just a
war.
guy who lives his life. Yeah, we are absolutely victims of this culture. And I hate to try and throw that kind of victim status thing on us, but it's like it's being forced on us. Like, we don't want this. We just want to live normal lives in peace and just be left alone. And the problem is that, these people who are primarily on the left end of the power spectrum, they just can't leave well enough alone. They just have to poke the bear, and it's like, dude, just leave us alone. And eventually we get tired of getting poked and we start to swat back at them. And then, they start their pearl clutching, and they're like, oh my God, look how dangerous these people are. And it's like, dude, you've been poking us for the last 30 years. Like, my entire life you've been telling me what a piece of shit I am because I don't sit down to pee. And it's like, really? Like,
yeah, and don't be surprised when we actually act the way that you think we are. It's
well,
like,
yeah.
Right?
And again, I think it's always that one group. It just made me mad that they again, it fucking struck a nerve with me because I saw that study and it's read all over Twitter, man. It is all over Twitter, fucking the Twitter sphere of the the re-center of excellence is where you want to go on Twitter. So that's where you'll find that stuff. And I literally, when I saw that, I was like, there's no because what's next? What happens when they say, hey, look, you guys talk to these people right here, you're them now. What? Yeah. You know what I mean? Just by me talking to you, just by us, interviewing you, just by us, trying to get to know you guys and hang out and shit.
They're guilt by association.
Right.
No, they're using the Hitler also drank water method, where they equate something to the worst thing ever. So it's like, yeah, but did you know Hitler was a vegan?
Yeah.
Or Hitler drank water, so obviously you drink water, so you're Hitler.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, so you guys are screwed.
And,
whatever.
And the thing is, just wait until you have to have a sit down with the Joint Terrorism Task Force, because I have friends who have, over memes, dude. Like, literally have to have a sit down with an attorney and the Joint Terrorism Task Force of the Department of Homeland Security over a fucking meme. And so it's like, yeah, we're very much tongue in cheek people, but this is just a dead serious subject, because we're talking about people's liberties. We're talking about people's lives here. And, I think what they fail to understand is that, like, we're trying to fight back against them in a lighthearted, cheeky way. And when they start to lose, they're the poorest losers you've ever met. They really are. And they are such sour people. And that's the problem. And that's part of the reason why they have this moral superiority complex, that they know so much better than you, because they can't stand being wrong, and they need some sort of a moral framework in their life. And, and so they've, you could get into the sociological aspects of, they've taken God out of schools and, basically, killed the influence of religion in our society, yada, yada, yada. They've gutted the nuclear family, so to speak. But what it comes down to is that human beings in general have a need to be a part of something bigger than themselves. It is an innate drive that we have. And these people have found that the God of the state is something that they feel that they can serve. And if we say that, like, we don't want to bend the knee to the state, we become the Antichrist to them. We are literally, they come after us with a religious fervor that is unparalleled since the Crusades, on both sides of the Crusades, mind you. to them, this is a moral crusade.
You need
it's a moral crusade where they attack your financial
exactly.
stability and future.
Just because
if they can't deplatform and deperson you, they will make sure you can't live.
But goddamn, the majority of them that are espousing these freaking religious comments and beliefs are the most hypocritical, heathenist motherfuckers on the planet.
Exactly.
I just like, well,
but it's literally just like every other position that they hold. The mental dichotomies that they cling to are so just intellectually indefensible. And the level
they're doing some Olympic level mental gymnastics there. Like I've seen some incredible stuff.
Dude,
you guys,
Olympic level.
Got nothing on these people. Like, fucking dude. Like these guys are doing like
straight out of the Matrix. Yeah,
dude.
It's insane what they do. But I think it does stem from part of them actually believing some of these real bad, nasty beliefs, and they have to go hide it and point it out to everyone else because, well, if I feel this way, everyone else must feel this way. It's like, no, dude, you're just an awful person. You're just terrible, all right? You should fix yourself rather than try to destroy everything else, man.
Yeah, like, dude, like smoke a doobie, drink a beer, and go talk to a therapist for real. Like, you've got fucking issues.
Just chill out, man. And we're all about that too. It's like, fine, that's your thing. That's cool. You're not harming anybody. Just
right. You guys watch that Netflix fucking series called The Family. Watch that series and you watch that thing about the family where you're talking about the interjection of God and religion and a lot of stuff. And man, that thing will be freaking. You'll be kind of like. That movie, that documentary, that parter had ties into some things that I am aware about that I'm pretty sure you guys will be aware about. If that makes any sense. You're watching that and you're like, holy fuck, I know about that. Oh my god, I saw that.
Yeah,
trust me.
I've seen the first couple episodes of that. It's fairly good.
Yeah,
very good.
It's really good. So, hey, real quick, god damn, dudes, you guys, we are over our freaking time.
Ooh, I know there's still other guys looking to jump into the call as well, so I'm going to call it a night here and maybe let some of them else jump in.
Yeah. Come on.
Once again,
we'll
thanks for having me here. From
thank you,
Patriot Wave Nation, I guess they're calling us. Thank you for having us on. Hopefully Squid will be on here in a little bit
awesome.
to give his take on things.
Okay.
But thanks for having us.
All right, brother. Hey, thanks for calling us, man.
No problem.
All right, have a good one.
Be good.
Yeah, you too, man. All right. You have him calling in right now?
Yep, telling them to right now.
Okay, cool. This is awesome. So yeah, watch that.
Some really cool stuff.
Yeah, flashes.
Yeah, dude, like this. I'm really enjoying this conversation.
Yeah, same here, man. I love this type of stuff, man. It's like freaking.
Yeah.
Any of y'all want to like donating lower receivers or anything like that to help out a brother?
Actually, one of the people coming on, Uprise Armory, I'm partnered with them. We actually have a Welcome to the Rice Fields motherfucker kit coming.
Oh my god, dude! I love that freaking.
It's gonna have two lower receivers, and the Safe Semi Auto will be Ohana, Aloha, and Luau.
Yeah, a previous caller, go ahead.
Flash will take your donation.
There we go.
Love it. Oh man,
dude, you're gonna make me have to roll back out my Big Igloo Charlie shirt that we did for a little while. That had the Hawaiian skirt girl with the rice field hat carrying an AK, and on the back it said "Welcome to the rice field."
Yes, dude. My god, dude.
We did that as a limited offering.
Yeah,
you're making me want to roll that thing back out.
Roll it back out. Fuck yeah, dude. Okay, so the next call we have here. Who do we have online now?
We got Uprise Armory here.
Uprise, how you doing, man? Welcome to WTF Nation Radio's Monday edition. We're talking about the Boog line, man, the movement. How you doing, man?
Good, you?
Cool. So tell us about yourself, brother.
Yeah, so Uprise Armory is just kind of like an armor-oriented little store that has kind of started to sell into the Boog. Gotten pretty heavily involved with the Boogaloo. So you can see, like, we've been putting in the comments, somebody said that Hawaiian looks good on the ladies.
Fuck
We've
yeah,
actually got like a sundress armor load out here, so that's Hawaiian, so we tagged her in that.
Oh yeah, it's hot. Yeah,
yeah.
And bitches love fucking Hawaiian shirts, man. Is that cool or whatever to say that? But yeah, that freaking that's some good shit. So how did you get involved? What was your? I mean, I know a lot of people. You probably overheard us talking some of the stuff about that. Did you get a hold of that study? Who's this calling there, Mulder? Who's this one? Is there somebody else calling?
this should be Rhett E. Boogie,
Okay.
who's a write-in candidate for president.
Okay. All right. All right, go ahead, man. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go for it.
Look, you're good. Yeah, so we got involved with Boogaloo because I kind of started in November 2019, and I've always kind of been very like not necessarily anti-government, but like if a policy says that it needs more government involved, like I'm not for it usually. So when I started seeing all this Boogaloo stuff, I said I really want to go that direction. So started making the memes, get involved, and found my foothold pretty quick. So.
Well, not only that, but you also got blasted on freaking the study that freaking from Rutgers University too.
Right.
Immediately they started calling you guys like you guys were freaking like arming everybody for the Boog, and I'm like, what the hell's going? What is going on, dude? It's like what the?
I don't remember the exact words they used, but it was something along the lines of like. Military equipment and, different terrorist, equipment that they use. And it's like, man,
Right.
we're not selling trucks full of fertilizer around here. Come on.
All right, hang on. We're gonna grab another.
That was actually one of our shirts that got us in trouble. Was the box truck that said McVeigh, our Boogaloo boys moving, free government parking pass. With the
Yeah,
trail.
see that right there could have. I could then see you getting a little too fucking butthurt about that shit. Let him know we're calling him. So we have the technology to call.
If the ATF agents can take pictures of Waco burning and smile, pretty sure they can get over our fucking joke.
Yeah, exactly. And they can get over. Hey, Rhett, what's going on?
What's up, guys?
Hey, man. Welcome to WTF Nation Radios. We're talking about the Boog tonight, the Boog line and the movement. So I figure that's everybody we have, right? You guys, the last few peeps we got on. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I've got Big Igloo Boys standing by. We can get them on too. I didn't know how many people.
Oh, no, that should be good enough, man. This is all. This is
okay.
Yeah, this is plenty, man. We're just like freaking. We're stacking them. So, anyways, so go ahead, UA. They had you had those plate carriers idea, huh? So what's up with the what are they able to stop 762? I'm sorry.
Yeah, baby.
Oh man.
Yeah, we got a couple different kinds, but we just partnered with Hoplite. So we're going to be selling Hoplite armor, and we got one kit out right now with Hoplite, but 5% of our sales go to Hoplite. If you're familiar with Lyman Bishop, he's running for governor in Montana, and he's kind of like the Boog king. Everybody in the Boog kind of looks up to him because he's been saying this kind of stuff like well before the Boogaloo was.
I was about to say, yeah, he was more prevalent. He was more prevalent in that type of movement before it became the Boogaloo, right? Before it was called that, right?
Right. I think he got really on board with it. God, it was a little bit before the UPS shooting. I'm not entirely sure the exact time there, but he got really heavily involved during the UPS shooting, and then they started attacking him. He started getting death threats by the police, and he's like, it's the people that are protecting us. They're saying these kinds of things to us. Like, come on, like I'm putting my foot down on this. I don't care if I lose my business. I don't care if they murder me. I'm really stepping in, and I think everybody's kind of looked up to that, and taking that kind of direction with their business too. And also I heard you guys talking about Duncan and that situation.
Yeah, dude.
We're also doing half of our profits on our Boogaloo flags are going to Duncan's family. So, we're trying to just bring some monetary value to helping out this situation and helping Lyman get governor and get our foothold in different places. So.
Yeah, and if I can jump in here real quick, this is Mark from TBL again.
Go for it, man.
We've been contacted by several people, and we've got a patch that we're going to be bringing out that we're going to be giving all the proceeds from that to Duncan's family to help cover expenses. And we've also partnered with Lyman. I talked with Lyman the first time right after the UPS shooting, and he and I had a 2-hour conversation on the phone about these are the people who are supposed to be protecting us, and they're using us as meat shields and backstops.
Oh yeah, so
seeing the shit that they were saying to him,
right?
We did a 3-way interview on Observations with Lyman, And we're actually going to be bringing out a fundraiser shirt for his campaign. That's going to be it's pretty dope, man. It's a play on Jurassic Park. It's Tyrannical Park, and it's super dope. We're going to be dropping that this week, and a huge portion of that, the biggest portion of that is going to be going directly to his run for governor of Montana. Because, if we're going to seek peaceful solutions to the problems that we have here, we have to have people like him who are like clean-cut, respectable people who can run for office. Because, like, let's be real, most of us
that's why I know, dude.
Respectable, and a lot of us won't pass the back.
I was speaking
actually get into office.
Right, I was speaking to a lobbyist on the Hill, and that individual said you should run for office. And I'm like, man, no, yeah. I would be no, no, thank you.
Yeah, you obviously don't know me.
Yeah, I'll stick to helping veterans out. Yeah, I'll stick to helping veterans out and doing some of the lobby assistance with you. But no. I don't have skeletons in my closet. I have a whole goddamn hanger full of them. So.
Yeah, right.
I'm waiting for someone to make a plate carrier that looks like a Hawaiian shirt.
That's what I'm saying. He's talking about.
I'm surprised that hasn't been done yet. Like, I was looking on the internet and I haven't found it yet.
Hoplite has.
Hoplite has.
Dude, I'm going there right now. Shit.
Yeah, order them flags up, you guys. If you guys want to drop your links in the fucking chats, you guys go ahead on the Facebook Live. You guys can go for it.
You got a picture of our battle flag, Ice. Why don't you show that?
Oh yeah. Let me see. Let me grab them shits. Yeah, this is fun. So who else do we have on here now? I'm sorry, it's Rhett, right, from Big Igloo Boys?
Yeah. No, I got my own page.
Oh,
yeah, just Rhett E Boogie 2020.
Ready Boogie. Okay. Were you on this targeted list that they busted you guys? They busted the rest of the Boog movement on from Johns Hopkins University.
No, I actually started. Rhett E Boogie is pretty new. I started that shortly after that whole article got released. And I run a few other pages, 30 to be exact, but none of them were on the list.
I should run just a couple pages.
Yeah,
just 30. I mean, well, dude, that's the thing. Like, I mean, dude, like in this movement, we're like, it's almost like kind of dick measuring, but it's like all in good fun. It's like, man, how many pages are you adminning now? And I'm like, 42. And it's like, and we laugh about it because it's like, dude, it's so much we can't even hardly keep up with it. And so we've got like our primary pages that we pay attention to, but like most of these guys, like I've talked to, and like, dude, we get invited to be admins of like these new groups that keep popping up, and it's like, I mean, it's awesome because like we can, then we can direct the people that follow our other pages to it, and the pages grow, and it, and the thing is, we're using that to exploit the algorithms, the very algorithms that they're trying to shut us down with. We're exploiting by starting new groups and growing them. And so the auto algorithms automatically start kicking these groups out to more and more people. And we're aware of this. And so it's like we're working within their system to tear it down in a way.
Yeah.
And not even not to destroy it, but to make it, to change it from the inside. And the thing is, I wish that we could really get to transfer what we're doing on platforms like Facebook over into the real world, into politics, and transform things from the inside. And the biggest problem is that we just don't have the reach that the mainstream media does. I mean, dude, the mainstream media broadcasts into 160 million households every single night. We're lucky if we're hitting just a couple million people on Facebook at any given moment. The disparity in the force that we can bring to bear on the Hearts and Minds campaign is massive, but the fact that they find us so threatening tells us that it's working.
And again, really, I'm just kind of like, you guys are getting upset over memes. That's what blows me away. Is that you're really, they're getting upset over memes. I mean, some memes, okay, whatever. Some memes, whatever. Oh yeah. Let me look at that. There we go. There's that. Look at that gorgeous plate carrier. We got that posted up. We got the flag. We had the flag posted up, and now we're that beautiful Hawaiian design. Do you guys have blue? You guys have that in blue?
Do you make it in green? Because it's very flattering to my red beard. That's what I want to know.
It's amazing.
It's beautiful. Look at that.
That one was supposed to show blood on the hibiscus because we don't want it to come to what it's going to have to come to.
Oh, is that what it's supposed to be? It's like, yeah. So those get them flags, man. Drop them shits on. Look at their sites.
That's
Check
my
it out.
interpretation of it.
Oh, so you're saying, oh man. See, but do you think when you say stuff like that, do you think that's what's triggering them the most? Is that how you saying something like that, just like kind of cool, like just like nonchalant, and it's not a big deal. But to the Rees, man, that's what we want. We should call them the Rees. They're like a new species, the Rees.
The bad part
it's like Slee Stacks.
I just made this graphic and I'd shared it with a couple people, but it was the George Washington holding the AR,
right.
And it says the level of violence I'm comfortable with would make you uncomfortable.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying. They're the ones. Those are the ones that are like freaking. They're freaking the fuck out about those types of comments. Like you said, the comments that you're saying are making them uncomfortable. It's like, really, you've been that fucking pampered. So Rhett, are you are you doing the are you doing? I mean, aside from that, are you? As a matter of fact, all you guys are we gonna have another meetup? I mean, are you guys gonna have another meetup? Are you guys having like you guys having like a not like a real like kind of like a boog fest? You know what I mean? Like not.
Will there be punch and pie?
Yeah, like a beer, like a kegger, like a. You know,
I have been planning something in St. Louis for everybody of the first Boog church meeting.
Well, no,
we're still trying to make that happen.
No, I'm talking about like how someone has like a I don't know like a freaking like a rock fest or something like that. What about if you say this wrong,
do that, but
if you say this wrong,
White Claw and High Point to show up.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna get a bunch of red flag calls when you say the Boogaloo people are getting together at this arena. People are gonna freak the fuck out. You know what I mean? Have you guys thought about doing like a festival or some shit?
Flights are cheap right now too.
I thought of a
flights are
good
super
name
cheap.
for one. Not super original, but we call it Boogapalooza.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know how we would line that up. There's not a lot of, as far as I know, there's not a lot of real Boogaloo bands out there. But there are
Boogaloo bands.
Liberty,
I love it.
Liberty-friendly bands out there. All that remains.
Yes.
Backwards.
All the remains have been on the show. They've been on the show before. North Hill Dawn, North Hill Dawn, been on there too.
They're good, man. They got a good message.
Bayou Bandits too. I have a feeling they. I'm telling you, man. I think you guys should have a Boogaloo-palooza because you got to call it that. Because if you call it the Boogaloo, motherfuckers are gonna freak the fuck out, and then they're gonna be like, oh my god, like you said before, man, clutching pearls and shit.
Yep.
Oh man.
Well, we'll just change the name up to like the Burlington Coat Factory employee sale.
What was that? Who's that? Wait, y'all are talking over each other. Say that again. Well, go ahead, Mark.
I said we'll just change the name up to the Burlington Coat Factory employee sale.
Okay, what was it you said? What was it you said, Rhett?
Well, no, what I
Mart?
What I was going to say, was, the problem with trying to organize something like that is that, we've been tarred and feathered in the media so bad that, like, if we were to actually try to rent out some kind of a meeting space, first off, we're not organized enough yet that we have, like, some funds. Like, we're not the NRA, thank God. But like if we were to be like, oh yeah, we want to have a bunch of these Boog autists get together, like people would be like, yeah, we're not interested.
And that's the thing.
We don't want to be associated with you.
That's a good question. What does the NRA? What is the NRA? Because I'm honest with you, man, the NRA isn't really NRAing. If that makes any sense, it's not
They're
really.
Trash.
They've never NRA'd.
What's happening with them? Have you guys what did they talk to you guys about? I mean, have they come up to you and guys, hey, you guys are making us look bad, or have they even approached you guys at all?
Not at all. No, I will say this: at the Nashville rally, we were told that the NRA associated group there that shall not be named did not want to be associated with us. They didn't want us anywhere near them. However, National Association of Gun Rights and Gun Owners America sure as hell did. We were in contact with the vice president of National Association of Gun Rights the day that everything came out about Duncan, trying to coordinate something on that. And my business partner's been in contact with them. You know, like there are groups out there that are actually doing something. The NRA is more concerned with taking in membership dues and lobbying and throwing big parties and buying, you know, Wayne LaPierre another, you know, nice vacation than they are really with our rights. You know, and the issue is, and you know, I try not to separate people into these groups like the left does, but goddamn it, dude, the boomers have sold our rights down the river for, you know, for a little bit of political gamesmanship for the last 50 years, and the NRA has been at the spear tip of that, of literally just, you know, the NRA doesn't stand for National Rifle Association; it stands for Negotiating Rights Away. I mean, that's all they do.
Snap!
And
I like that.
Worthless.
I like that. Somebody
Well,
asked.
the best way to sum up the NRA would be the episode of South Park where all the smug people were sniffing each other's farts.
Yeah.
So
I mean, literally, dude, you want to talk about a Washington Circle jerk of like, literally, it's like dudes who couldn't get elected, and so they become lobbyists, and you know, and if they're old enough and white enough, then they can be, you know, they can be NRA lobbyists, and that's literally what it is, dude. Like they're just absolutely trash. The NRA
So
is
where do you
trash
think?
in
I
all
mean,
of those.
and this is just a simple. I mean, this is a question for the group. Where do you think they went wrong? I mean, where is it? I mean, where did it? I mean, because I'll be honest with you, that I think they target boomers already just by the way they, because I think. Well, I mean, I am of senior age. Not senior age, but I'm pretty old enough that when I was a member of the member of the NRA. And I literally had a little freaking, like, do a membership or 3-year membership. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I did that. No sooner than freaking a year later, after I enrolled into and became a member of the NRA, they were telling me that I need to hurry up and fucking turn in my membership dues in because my shit was being expired. I had people calling me up at my house telling me that I'm like, you guys are nuts. I literally just joined the fucking NRA and I'm on a 3-year freaking hitch, and now you guys are telling me that. Wait a minute, whoa! You guys are saying now that I have to renew my dues? I mean, is this what you're doing to old people? And they go, hung up the phone.
Pretty much.
Yeah, dude, they're literally the AARP of the gun community. That's what they are.
No, they're a predatory lender of the gun community.
Yeah, I don't think they've gone.
Well, you asked where they went wrong. They went wrong in 1934 when they helped with the National Firearms Act.
Yeah, I'm
talking about, it's been downhill since then.
Yeah, I'm talking about like their work, like because I'm telling you, man. Recently, with like, for instance, they've lost NRA TV. Went away. They killed NRA TV. Don't know. Nobody knows why. It just says, hey, we're not doing it because we're doing whatever. Nope. And of course, everybody that is against the NRA are like jumping up and down for it. But what shifted to the point to where are they even worth being an association anymore? Yeah, I said it. I don't give a shit.
Well, and you know what? Here's the God's honest truth from my perspective is that I think I may be too young to know exactly where they went wrong. And it literally, dude, I mean, it is a boomer FUD circle jerk is what it is. And it's those guys who, you're using those, you're using those Tupperware guns, when they talk about Glocks, and it's like, if you're not shooting a 1911, then you're not really shooting, and they're the damn brass goblins at the range, and they're literally the guys who are like, you don't need 30 rounds to hunt a deer, and it's like, yeah, this isn't about hunting deer, dude.
As long as I got my hunting rifle, it's okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, dude, they're so wrapped up in their own shit. But you got to remember, this is the same generation that brought us, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and the collapse of 2008, and who have literally negotiated away every single civil right that we have, for their 401ks, man. I mean, like, they just don't care. And that's one of the reasons why there is so much animosity between, even between Gen Xers and the boomers, but especially with, millennials and, your Gen Zs, with the animosity with the boomers is just like, they don't care about anything but themselves. They're so goddamn selfish about, their property values And, that's all they're concerned about. They're not really concerned. They just want to maintain the status quo, and we don't want their status quo. That's
Right.
what it comes down to. And the NRA is just an embodiment of that in the firearms community. Is
Right,
all it is.
right. And someone like comments in the chat that the NRA TV, but they just made a wine club. Like, what the hell is up with that?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and just start up the the NRA book club, and every week you can give out fucking grab bags. Like,
Well,
I mean, seriously, dude, it's just pathetic.
The Boomer Shiraz.
Well, I mean, yes, indubitably. No, but what trips me out is that I growing up, Charlton Heston, you're talking about these guys that were cold dead fingers and going by the hands, and everyone's like, rocking it. My dad was a lifetime member of the NRA, had American Rifleman and American Hunter magazines sent to the house, and I used to read all those along with a subscription to Soldier of Fortune magazine because he was a Vietnam vet. So I mean, right. but I looked at a lot of those, and I thought the advocacy. I'm just wondering where it went. Like, you're not hearing about advocacy anymore, other than people complaining about, or they're invited to CPAC, or they're invited to some other group, or they're taking exorbitant fucking speaker fees to talk about it. Me and Flash were talking about before I went on air. He's asking me how retirement's doing, and am I going to make any more public engagements? I'm like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I got, whatever. And for me, when I go out to speak or I go out to be on a panel, I'm just happy that they want to fly me out and, put me in a hotel and shoot the shit and laugh and joke around. There's people out there that were literally like, say, no, I got to have this amount of money. I want this amount of money. I want this. I want that to speak on your platform. And I'm thinking, you guys are like fucking selling out.
Yeah, that's what it is, dude. And they're beholden to the almighty dollar. And that's really what it is. They have been so infected by greed that there's really not much else you can say about it, dude. They have been infected by greed, and it's not about our rights. They are literally predatory businessmen who have found another way to make money. And these guys, if it wasn't in the quote gun rights movement, they would latch on to something else, dude. It's all about accumulating money and power for them. That's all it is.
If they weren't in the gun rights movement, they'd be offering payday loans from a tribal reservation, so you can't sue them in civil.
No, or a fucking reverse mortgage.
Yes, exactly. Right? I mean, right, dude. Or they'd have had Wilford Brimley.
It was diabetes.
And before anybody misconstrues our
right.
Everybody misconstrues the anti-left slant you're hearing. We're not pro-Trump either, just to fucking make that clear.
Who you vote for or who you support and all that, the guy's already in office. It doesn't really fucking matter.
If you vote, it's more his comment on due process, and let's just go ahead and take people's guns.
Well, I think, again, his reactionary comments are reactionary comments, so that way he's not looking like ass at the moment. That's usually some of the comments that he makes are like that anyways. You guys got coins? Holy shit, you guys got fucking boot coins?
Yeah, we've got Boogaloo challenge coins, the emotional support machine gun. We have the tactical autism response division, the TARBs, which is a Punisher skull with the autism puzzle pieces in it.
Oh my god!
And then pretty soon, I've talked to you about it. We have the Boogaloo PSYOP stuff coming.
That's right, baby.
With the retarded horse.
Yeah, exactly. Coming up, especially created with Ice, myself, and the Boogaloo guys. We're creating
shitpost, false flag, and meme.
That's right. We're creating the Boogaloo meme task force.
Task Force Igloo.
Yep, the Bugatef.
Love it.
Oh yeah. He'll get with you with some of the details. I can't wait because I got to play. I got to participate in that. So I love. I'm gonna. Matter of fact, you get that and you get that hooked up and we get it going. I will fucking fly. I will put that. I'll hold it up. And as a matter of fact, there's some members of the PSYOP community that are interested in it as well. As soon as I showed them that, they're like, "No fucking way!"
I've got it coming for you guys.
I appreciate it, man. We love it. So, Rhett, what's your take? I mean, how old are you? I don't want to like dime your age out, but are you in your 20s, 30s? How old are you?
I'm 34.
Okay, so do you feel right now that you? I mean, this is a good question. The olds have sold you out. I mean, do you?
Yeah, man. I won't say it's the old. I won't say it's the young.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, just talking to my dad, it's kind of, I try to talk to him about the way that I see authority, the way that we see laws, things like that, and everything that applies to anything that doesn't involve a victim, shouldn't exist as a law, that kind of stuff. And a lot of the older guys, you know, they just see this as like, oh, we need structure, we need authority, we need, you know, you have to respect the cops, you have to, you know, it doesn't matter if they're hassling you for no good reason, like, you know. So yeah, I mean, I see that in a way, but you got a lot of young guys out there too that are also on that train, you know, and you see it a lot. You know, boomer is not an age; it's a state of mind.
Right.
And I kind of agree with that in a way. You know, I mean, technically, yes. I mean, the boomer generation is an age group, right? But definitely it can be a state of mind as well. And I see it all the time on my pages. You know, guys just, one of my pages is Make America Free Again. And I posted a video a few months ago about, you know, it was this cop, he was chasing this kid down. And actually he wasn't even chasing the kid. He just showed up to the scene and gets out of his car, and within like a second of him getting out of the car, he's unloading his magazine into this kid and ends up killing him. You know, the kid was running away. No threat to the cop. The kid was just running. And as he's reloading, you know, he's like, get on the ground, get on the fucking ground, you know, and all this. And I'm just like watching this video in awe. Like, this guy shot a non-threat because of, you know, this car chase, right? I mean, yeah, kid was obviously doing the wrong thing, but the cop didn't need to kill him. And, you know, people just come on the page and just defend the cop, you know, and I'm like, God, just pay attention, you know, look at what's happening. You don't shoot somebody in the back.
Never.
I was in the military. I was in the Marine Corps for 16 years. You know, I mean, I was in Iraq. I'm a grunt. If I would have done that to an Iraqi, I would have been court-martialed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you don't shoot people in the back that are unarmed running away from you.
Right.
You just don't do it. And, you know, so I see it in all age groups. You know, people that just are, it's authority. They wear the badge. You do what they say. If you don't, you get killed. That's on you. You know,
now,
I don't agree with that.
Do you think that's a play on some of the individuals on how some of us are raised to be respectful? Like, just like being a man growing up, be respectful. You don't hit women. You don't fucking, you know what I mean? You pay your bills. You do, you bust your ass for your fucking family. You eat last. You eat, you know what I mean? You have that instilled. And do you think that I'm answering the question for you, but I think a lot of it too is that some of the younger individuals or other individuals that have not been raised that way take advantage of guys like us. Take advantage of guys that because, you know, we were like you said, my dad same thing, raised to respect authority. That you say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, you know, no ma'am. You're respectful. That's just the way it is. Now you have guys who beat the hell out of women getting defended. And nothing, like you were saying about the victims. I know plenty of individuals that if they had a weapon in their hand and they would have blasted that individual that was beating on them, then that individual would have been held bad because you didn't give the system a chance. That's what pisses me off too.
Yeah. So what you're saying there is, like, if a guy was beating a woman and then the cop shoots the guy.
No, the woman shoots. If the woman shoots the guy, and the guy's already been.
She's just defending herself.
She's just defending herself. Yeah, but there's some.
If you shoot somebody and kill them.
But there is some. But there is somebody that sometimes will actually. I mean, there's been some cases where there's been some friendly fire. There's been some cops that have shot the victims or the persons that are victims. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fucking frustrating. I get fucking, dude. I get livid. I mean, like I said, some of the people that I talk to in my circles, and I just hear some of this shit, and holy fuck, man.
Well, there was the story
dude,
where
I can jump in here.
Go for it, Mark.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, there was a story with the.
Mark, let Mark talk. Mulder.
I was just going to say, if I can jump in.
Go for it.
You know, it goes back to what I was talking about earlier, where, you know, you have, in a way, you gutted the fundamentals of what created our society and made it great, and that was, you know,
right.
Whether you believe in God or not, it was a belief in something bigger than yourself.
Right.
It was the nuclear family. You know, it was you do right by your family, by your community, by your nation.
Right.
And they've gutted that and replaced it with worship of the state.
Right.
That's the big thing. And so literally, dude, when it comes down to it, you're seeing just a little microcosm of this worship of the state. And it comes on both sides of the aisle, man, because you see people who are like hardcore Trumpers who are just, I mean, dude, they're deep throating the boot, and it's like, dude, will you not open your eyes and see the injustice here? Just because the guy wears a badge doesn't mean that he does no wrong. You know, and And just because they work for the government doesn't mean that they have your best interest at heart. Like, can you not open your eyes and see that? And that's the big thing, is like, we just want people to open their eyes and see what's really going on, man. And when you do start to open your eyes, and that is the red pill. That is opening your eyes and seeing the world as it really is, not how you've been programmed to see it. And when you start to look at it, man, it's fucking rotting. It is corrupt, and it's just, oh, dude, it's coming apart at the seams.
Yeah, man.
And these people, and so you have that, and people open their eyes just enough to see that it's coming apart at the seams, and they need someone to blame, and then they need someone to try and stitch it back together, and so they worship the boot even more. And it's like, dude, that's not the answer. Like, you are literally propagating the problem, and that is the worship of the state that is just absolutely destroying the fabric of our nation. Of all peoples, white, black, brown, whatever.
Yeah, there is some level, of course, of obviously, like, there is some laws that have to happen, obviously, because obviously cops have to do what they have to fucking do. There has to be, there has to be trials. There has to be, people get convicted for whatever, for committing a crime and all that, but you have to follow through with all of them. You know what I mean? You just can't pick and choose and go after somebody who has like a little baggie of weed and then, like you said, shoot him in the fucking back, as opposed to somebody who, I don't know, that probably deserved to get hemmed up a little bit more and thrown in prison a little bit longer or for life, as opposed to that. It's like I said, it's just frustrating, man. Who else do I have?
When cops investigate themselves.
Yeah, exactly. I have so we have wait, do we got to silence somebody? Isn't there somebody quiet in here or something like that? I thought we had 3 people in here. Who's in here? So we have Mark, and then
you got Uprise.
What's that?
I've been quiet.
Oh, okay. About to say, did you?
Uprise.
Yeah,
no. So I was thinking on this cops thing. So a lot of times, I think a lot of left side individuals feel that the Boogaloo is kind of slanted against them because a lot of times they're not pro 2A. But they've been screaming for quite some time now about the police state, and I think that this is a great way to kind of bridge that gap and get a real good understanding that this isn't about just 2A. This is about getting everybody's personal liberties back that are being sold out by boomers and people like the NRA. So that's, I think, a great way for the Boog to reach out and be more inclusive, and that's kind of the goal that we've been setting for ourselves. And I just want to make that point.
No, okay, yeah, I hear you, man. I want to throw a scenario right quick. Those 2 guys that got fucking hemmed up by the Attorney General of Tennessee for the brothers that fucking hoarded all that hand sanitizer and wet wipes and shit, and now they've been investigated for price gouging, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they were donating to a church, and they had the AG come over. They had the freaking government come by and pick up all their shit. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I heard y'all talking about that earlier. I mean, to me, that's free market, right? I mean, I believe in purely free markets. I don't believe in this capitalism, crony capitalism system. I hate to take something from Bernie Sanders. Don't get me wrong, but crony capitalism is a real thing, right? I mean, the state protects big business, but it also restricts business when it's not necessary. I mean, when in a time of crisis, price gouging happens for a reason. You can't get toilet paper right now anywhere because they don't allow states prevent stores from price gouging during states of emergency, at least in North Carolina where I am. You cannot price it. As soon as they declare state of emergency, prices have to be, I think it may be a 10% wiggle room they have or something like that, but they're not allowed to raise prices. So now everything sells out because everybody's like, oh shit, emergency.
Right.
And now I can't go buy anything because it all stayed the same price and everybody just went and hoarded everything and stockpiled,
Yeah.
But with the individual thing, it's like those guys bought it, right? They were being capitalist. They were like, man, I'm going to go buy this shit because I see this coming. I'm going to make a profit off of it. Sucks to suck. Now, I don't agree with it, and as on an individual, like, moral level, I think it's fucked up.
Right, exactly.
But, they were being entrepreneurial in that moment, just maybe they went the wrong way.
Yeah, but took
advantage of the system that's broken.
Right. That's my thing. I mean, it'd be freaking one of those things that people were like, oh, this is so much. They deserve to get that thing. I'm like, well, think about it. They were already acting from what was supposedly have happened is that they have already purchased all this stuff while this thing was happening already, while the hysteria was happening. and because they started selling it. Now, a lot of it, if you've ever had a business or ever run a business, there's got to be overhead during a crisis. You have to have people work additional hours. You have to have people, more money on fuel for transport, shipping, and all that stuff. It increases the fucking price of everything. It has to.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the thing, to me, the problem is when you see that government is the solution. And when has the government ever solved a problem that, quite honestly, it didn't make worse?
Yeah,
let's be real.
Well,
I mean, if there's one thing the government's good at, it's saying, "Hey, here's a problem. Let's see how we can compound it."
Right.
They're really good at that.
Well, scratching your head, separation of church and state. Do you think that they made? Do you think you better donate it to a church instead of Good Signal? I mean, come on. Wait a minute. I'm going to go donate this to people like homeless people or something like that. I'm not going to go give it to a church. Why do I have to give it to a church? That's a head scratcher for me.
Or
before this,
they might have. I mean, they could have told him any nonprofit or something.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Or whatever. They might have chosen church. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. I just think that I just wanted to get you guys. I mean, I'm not on either side. Like I said, the guys were, like you said, the guys were dickheads for doing it. And then all of a sudden trying to, and I get it, an additional $5 to get some. I think they had 17,000 bottles of fucking hand sanitizer. Did you really want to be that fucking greedy by adding $20 to it? You know what I mean? You could have just put another $5 on that shit and been fine just on your own. Here's $10 right quick for a couple bottles of hand, and that'd have been real quick.
Yeah. I mean, it was a shitbag move on their part. But I have a real problem anytime when the government steps in and says, "Oh, we're going to fix this," and it's like that sends up huge neon signs and red flags in my mind. Like, something's going sideways, because the government rarely fixes anything, and they never fix anything efficiently.
They're going to fix it like they fixed child services and ended up with all these kids getting molested in place.
Oh my God! Did you see that movie? Did you see that freaking Netflix? I mean, I don't want to be selling Netflix, but the trial of that little kid, that was in the adoption system, in the system. Oh man, you got to watch that movie. I can't remember what his name. Trial of some Fernandez kid. God, I'm fucking it up. I shouldn't even mention it if I don't even know. Why did I even bring it up? Flash, why do you have me talk like this?
I know what you're talking about. It went past my feed, but I know what.
No, I saw it. Well, I mean, if you it's a freaking God, man. Now it's gonna kill me. I gotta look it up right now. Someone's gonna like a Netflix movie. What's it called? The trial of freaking. Somebody help me in the chats. Damn it! I know somebody's listening right now that could. Oh man.
Trial of Gabriel Fernandez.
That's it. Yeah, you watch that story. You're talking about the system, man. Oh, it'll kill you. You literally want to, like I said, you want to put a Hawaiian shirt on.
Yep.
But
and
I mean, if
boys,
Duncan's murder didn't want to make you do it.
Yeah, I got to step off here, but I got to say on that subject, the government puts out great lists of people that you don't want around you. It's your local sex offender list. So just keep that in mind.
Dude, they just put you on a list. What are you talking about? They record that Attorney's fucking general put you on a fucking list saying that you're Al Qaeda, you're ISIS. You know what I mean?
I'm white ISIS, man. But hey, remember, dude, I live up here in Appalachia. This is white Afghanistan up here, dude. So, here's the thing: we can't stand people who exploit the weak, who exploit the innocent.
Exactly.
And you talk about those kids being molested and stuff, dude. That's something that we take that stuff to heart, dude, because when it comes down to it, in this community, we're all about family and our community and protecting our own and protecting the most innocent among us, and that's our kids, dude. And you mess with our kids, and that's part of why this movement exists, is because we don't want our kids to have to face the same things that we are.
Right.
And so we've got a real soft spot for them, and we get real ill when people mess with kids.
Because our parents didn't, and we don't want our kids to have to.
Yeah,
exactly. So with that, boys, I got to sign off. So I really appreciate you guys having me on here.
Yeah, hey, thanks for coming on, brother. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Have a good one. Oh man, dude. Is there anything you guys want to talk about real quick before we close up? I mean, we're about ready. We were like rocking the show, man. This is fun. I totally. Everyone's telling me you're going over time. You're going over time. I'm like, what time is it? I'm like, holy shit, we're over time.
I love the fans are like, you guys are over time, and
yeah, but
they keep they're like our on call producers. Like,
yeah.
Excuse me.
You guys are over. No. I mean, there's some individuals like
go for a break. I wanted to hear more music.
Exactly. You guys got anything to say before we take off?
It's very rare though where we get into a good flow of the conversation where you can just keep it going.
Well, welcome to WTF.
That's right, man.
That's all we do.
Oh yeah.
So with that, you guys, hey, we really appreciate y'all coming on and hanging out with us. And you guys are freaking rocking it. I mean, again, we're probably all gonna get put on lists right now because you guys talk to us and because we talk to you. So they're probably gonna.
Oh, I've already been on one. It's all good.
If you aren't on the list by now, are you really an American?
Yeah, I was about to say we probably are right now.
That list is so big by now.
Yeah, what else? Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm waiting for another Rutgers University fucking study on, this shit.
That's Flash, capital F. L.
Exactly.
You're gonna put me on the list. Get it right.
Well, it really showed their great reporting when they reached out to no one for comment.
You know what? That's another thing too. Have you guys been reached out by the media, by like Vice and everybody else from that? Have you guys been in contact?
Only when they talked to them on scene at Richmond. And that was just happenstance that they ran into each other.
I'm talking about the other guys though. Have you guys been like interviewed? Have you had any of the local media or full media, mainstream media, come out and say, "Hey, we want to talk to you about this Boogaloo stuff"? What, you guys are, white supremacists or whatever? Or what? Did no one's come out and said that shit to you guys?
No,
I haven't. I'm kind of hoping that I do get contacted by somebody at some point. I mean, you guys reached out and that was awesome, but I've got an event planned for January 2nd, 2021. It's on my Facebook page to basically rally in DC as a warning that, we will support and defend the Constitution. We like most of your followers on your page, myself, everybody else that took an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, all that stuff. Basically showing up and saying, look, we're done with it. We know who the true enemies of the Constitution are, and it's not overseas, right? I mean, sure, they attacked us once. If you buy the official narrative, I'm not going to get all conspiracy on you guys, but
I hear you.
Yeah, you guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, but who are the people that are truly the threat? When that happened, that was a terrible event, right? 9/11 happened, thousands of people died. Got it. That sucks. But what did they do right after? They enacted the Patriot Act, which is a horrible, horrible infringement of constitutional rights.
Which at the time everybody was shitting their pants about. We're pissed off about that. There were people that were still pissed off because they were anti-W, they were anti-George Bush.
Yeah.
And they were like going off.
It passed.
And they passed it. Yeah.
Almost unanimously.
Yeah.
So it's a big problem. So that's what that event's about, and getting that moving. But if they can just go check out the page, they'll find it.
Yeah, man. I think your all's comments are flowing too. You guys have dropped your links in the page, and that's you guys are always welcome to come back, man. So
with everything that's been said, waterboarding at Guantanamo Bay sounds really awesome, except we know what it'll be.
It's not waterboarding if you use diesel. So, well, hey, real quick, you guys hang out real quick. As soon as we cut off here, and I want to shoot the shit with you guys. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and take off. We're gonna listen to some Space Force and shit. We want to thank our guests from the Boogaloo movement, the Boog movement, the Boog line, Big Igloo Boys, Patriot Wave, UA, and of course Thick Blue Line. I mean, this is awesome. I love it. And you guys, of course, are all going to be on watch lists now because you liked, and commented. So again, so y'all, thank you all for joining and hanging out. Space Force, see you. Shots.
and a group of soldiers take upon their shoulders a daunting task of relentless skill to make conquest of the last frontier. Now here we are enlisted for the glory of our nation. To say that we're the best would be an under-exaggeration. Prepared for combat with an alien race to kick their asses right in the face. Space Force, Space Force, we'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. They say that they've discovered life up there on Mars, so let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport now, sit back, relax, and watch us through the hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planet of America. Space Force, Space Force, we'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now we'll go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear our manly voices singing Space Force strong. The critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum, ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Space Force, Space Force, we'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Space Force.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
Good evening, boys and girls. This is Tim Kennedy. I'm a Special Forces sniper, a Ranger-qualified Green Beret, a UFC fighter. Please listen to us and the shenanigans that we're going to say. We will insult you. There will be racial slurs. We will be sexist. We will offend you. But there will be magic, and a unicorn will be raped. So enjoy the show. Thank you for listening on WTF Nation Radio.